got the notification.
And there's the Facebook. And we're live on Facebook. La 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 la.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, signs and wonders.
I'm gonna wait for people to get here
I was
before
going
you.
to say it 10 times.
You're gonna say it 10 times.
Signs and wonders.
Oh yeah, what's our? We didn't even check our internet bars.
We didn't?
To see how many on the little internet box. We have good internet out here though.
It's like green right here. See?
I meant on our little T-Mobile tower thingy.
I checked it earlier today. There was 4 bars.
4 bars.
Mm-hmm. So far, so good for that. 2 concurrent viewers. Hello there.
Let me jump in there. I like our thumbnail. See, look.
Oh yeah, you actually can read it. Okay, good.
Maybe we won't generate as much
Yeah, people don't.
people coming in because
People think when you talk sometimes when you talk from the record books that oh, I don't want to hear that preach on. EDA, yes, EDA is here.
Hey Donna,
172.
I wanted to message you. Are you going to? Are you guys gonna come for the March 25th thingamajigger? Because we have 2 other people coming. So hopefully, hopefully, it won't be so hectic.
Won't be hectic.
Well, like we've got 2 other former members coming,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna be acting like we're tour guides on the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
One Odie gets into town on the 24th, and we got to email him and ask what time his plane gets in. Hopefully he'll be getting in. I think he's flying up from Miami. Is what it sounded like. Or maybe he's just flying straight from Venezuela to here.
Says probably not.
Okay, that's probably for the best because we're going to be so busy we wouldn't even have time to hang out. Which we want to do touristy things and we haven't done any of that. Because we've been working so much.
We could always hang out, but we would be with other people too, so
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to give as much time as we'd like to you all,
Yeah.
with you all.
So, but we're going to be here, what is it? It's March. We're going to be here April and May, we think. That's the plan. Because we'll be out at the campground. And then in 7 days, we just got to figure it out.
Yeah. So we'll have to figure out another time to come up to your area.
Yeah, or you guys,
Donna.
can come here in April or May. And we can...
If we're able to hold out here long enough because of the heat.
I think we will. We just got to figure out those 7 days.
Yeah, the air conditioning situation. Run our generator for 7 days straight.
But it barely took any gas.
Yeah, I hope it can handle it. I mean, you wouldn't probably have to run it in the middle of the night,
Right.
would you? I don't
I
know.
don't think so. The fans were sufficient.
At least that time of year.
I mean, we can always
May,
keep
maybe.
looking at the state parks and see if we can find something. I mean, worst case, we can go just right over to the KOA.
Old School Dave says, hello, my wonderful YouTube friends.
Hello.
Hello to you, Old School Dave.
Let's see, $80 a night times 7.
EDA says, Donna says it will come for our tour in April sometime.
My
Let me
birthday's
know
April 7th.
if you are busy.
My birthday's April 7th, girl.
April 7th.
Yeah, for 7 nights at the KOA, we'd be paying $560.
No, we can
No.
we can buy you know what we'll do, we'll buy a huge power system with a solar array for that. We'll just run our air conditioner over that.
I mean, that's what the roof is for.
Yeah. Old School Dave says, oh, Abby's is in April 4th.
That's right. We're almost birthday sisters.
Yeah, pretty close. 3 days is like around a block. Old School Dave says, y'all ever hit BLM spots? Bureau of Land Management? We haven't yet.
Not us.
Kathy and I haven't, but the classroom did.
We have a camping membership, so we're paying for that. So it's like we might as well live in the lap of luxury, so to speak.
Yeah, and then whenever we can, which hasn't been that often because we'll park at somebody's, business or house if they've
It's
got
been
an
working
electric.
out. Savannah's been pretty good to us.
Yeah,
We like it here. We are both getting, I think, a little antsy, but we're able to like buckle down and work, and we've got the campground that we're at. We came in yesterday and it was raining. Well, it stopped, which was nice. But the spot that we had, and this campground is known for like becoming just a big, huge puddle when it rains. There's quite a few low spots, and the spot that we had was right in the front, like literally like the front spot. There's a couple other ones that are the same. The campground is like a kind of a circle, and we had the first spot, and it was just full of water, and both of our feet were all wet and muddy, and
yeah. It was
Sawyer
like
had
walking
to-
around in a lake.
Sawyer had to set up and
Swamp.
all that, and we knew we didn't want that spot. We wanted to be over by the tent spots because that's where the other member, when he comes in, he's going to be in one of the tent spots, and we wanted to be close to that and away from the front and all the traffic coming in. It's not that big of a campground, but still. So they let us move. So we had like 2 moving days. Like, she called this at like 2:30, and it was like, oh, I guess it's time to get up and move.
Yeah, because we got to sleep in.
We were able to sleep. I think for the total of the weekend, I didn't get 8 hours of sleep. Over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I didn't have 8 hours of sleep that whole time. Like, all the hours I actually slept totaled maybe 8 hours. You got 2 extra hours
Yeah.
for the nap. We did a really cool thing. Sorry, I was like, I'm not going to talk at all. I'm just going to color. And here I am like,
You said that?
to
I didn't even
myself.
say that.
No, I said it to myself. Ooh, I got these fun toys. They're skin tone pencils. These are top of the line. Well, there's another brand that's a little bit more top of the liney, but I can color faces now. I already have these colors, but they're just in a set together, which I'm so excited about.
I'm going to put them up there again. I couldn't see it because of this picture.
Got this. These are for skin tones, and this. I'm so excited. I love new coloring supplies. And I don't know, I already hung up the picture that I colored, but if anybody's friends with me on Facebook, they can see I finally finished that one picture I was working on.
Old School Dave likes your Prismacolors.
Thank you. They're so pretty.
Fancy.
Um,
The place to be, says MW1 Online. The place to be
hey, MW1
for the signs
Online.
and wonders.
That's
We're in the place to be.
Sawyer's gonna get into the heavy stuff in a bit, so we worked our butts off this week and last week, and today's the first day that we got to like not worry about working and kind of just, oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry, I forgot. I had to like circle back around in my brain. So Saturday we did something that we don't normally do, which was split up. We broke up. No. We're not gonna ever do that. But we split up to work because Grayface had an market. Oddities Market.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. And I had to work to get this bonus that I'd been working on, which I got. Woohoo. Thank you, Uber. And thank you all the people in Savannah, Georgia who don't want to go out and get their own food and have Uber drivers deliver it. But so Saturday we were both dead tired, and Sawyer, we set up our little table. I used the purple cloth that's usually on the back of this. That's why I ordered these fancy schmancy covers for the couch thing here. But we set up, and Sawyer sold his books, and then we sold a couple. I think we sold 2 shirts, the tea and dough shirts. We didn't have much variety.
No.
Because we're a little limited.
Because of the copyright baloney.
But the main thing was that Sawyer sold 8 of his books.
Yeah.
8 or 9.
9, I think it was. 8 or 9, something like that.
And then we sold a couple of the tea and dough shirts, which is nice to know that people are going to be wearing those. And then
yeah, people had a lot of questions.
And we passed out flyers and stuff. But Sawyer sat there, and I came for the last hour. So I needed a break from working, but we kind of felt like, I don't know, we haven't discussed it too much, but Ryan goes to different oddities markets all throughout this area, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's
like,
got a lot of oddities.
Yeah, they
basically that are not copyrighted.
No, it's like from the museum. It's
not
like
from Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, they actually removed all of their Heaven's Gate stuff, which I don't know if I don't think we're going to talk about that, but
I think we already mentioned it, but
Mark and Sarah went after them
with a cease and desist,
and so they ceased and desisted.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but also at the same time it made me feel kind of like sad. It would have been nice to have felt like there was, more people in the fight, but that's not their task. We feel like it's our task to fight against them and get everything available to
we
the
were
public.
put on the firing line. That's why.
Yeah, we asked for service and we got it.
Right.
But so the Oddities Market, like, it was cool to make a decent amount of money and also get Sawyer's book out and just see people and talk to them and see the interest, and it gave me ideas from like seeing everybody else's work that was there, like a lot of cool stuff, and just a lot of cool people. But like it just gave me a lot of ideas. Like I have I don't know, like maybe 100 or so like somewhat creepy dolls. I don't think they're creepy. I think they're adorable. Clowns, and there's like, some of them are cracked, or they're odd. They're odd dolls, and they're all in storage right now, but I wanted to get them out the next time we go back to Indiana, and we'll have to figure out if we can bring them in. But they're like, you can do all kinds of stuff with dolls, and I follow quite a few artists on Facebook. Well, not quite a few, but a couple artists on Facebook that make kind of scenes with their dolls, or creep them out by putting blood on them. I don't want to do anything like that, but I like the whole kind of put a doll in a scene kind of thing. And so we'll kind of expand on our table, so it'll be Heaven's Gate and creepy dolls for sale at the Oddities.
Not Heaven's Gate, but per se, but just
that'll be separate.
Anything we're allowed to actually
put on the table, or maybe put up behind us, or
it's like
anything to get people to come over to your table. It's like people came in and like started at one point and just kind of go all the way around. So whether they want to look at your stuff or not, they do.
Usually,
they just kind of pass over, and then they look at you and they're like, what? But it was fun. We had a little one of my mannequins, and put the tea and dough shirt on her, and it was nice. so I'm done talking. And
So old school Dave says it sounds like a good outing.
it was. And
Boosters here.
I'm working on coloring this right now. I'm gonna try to finish it, and then I'll let Sawyer talk.
You don't
and I'll
let
shut
me
up.
talk. I'm gonna fall. No, I'm not gonna fall asleep. I am relaxed. But old school Dave says sounds like a badass booth table.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's a decent table. I mean, just being able to, certain people sometimes recognize my face, my funny face.
You're funny.
They're from documentaries, and so they sometimes enjoy, talking and learning things that they weren't going to learn from those documentaries. In fact, one person came up to the table and said she listened to the Heaven's Gate podcast that was done like around 2017, before that I think.
Oh, that's right. We got.
And then she said to me, "Was there anything in the podcast that you feel like was inaccurate?" Or I said, "Yeah."
That's an understatement.
Yeah, and the number one thing was where T was called a hypocrite by Terry and by the host. I forgot the host's name, but so I basically I could say a lot about this, but just in a nutshell, I told her that there was nothing hypocritical about T at all. Zero. And that's not just because I believe in T and O, that's because that's the reality. If you actually listen to the tapes, and then you'll see the proof of that. She was 100%, I'd say 1,000%, if that could exist. Or some other number that's bigger than that. But, to be silly about it. But
a trillion%.
Yeah, right. So for them to leave it that way and say those things and not have them addressed, I've got to bring that up every chance I get. And then I was going to tell her about the other thing that was, well, I mean, T was writing letters. The reason why she was called hypocrite was because she wrote letters to Terry while her students.
Who's Terry?
Terry is T's vehicle's daughter. Mm-hmm. And so she wrote a number of letters over the years to Terry and sent some money. I think it amounted to about $600 over years. And I mean, she might have sent the money all at one time or a couple times, I think. So I don't know exactly when that happened, but that was about the amount, I believe, that Terry said. And so she's criticized for that because students didn't have the freedom to write to or call or visit
on a
family.
Regular basis.
At least during the whole classroom.
Well, you did have the freedom to do it.
Yeah,
you just weren't going to stay in the classroom if you wanted to do that.
Right. You just didn't want to be in that program. Now, since I'm talking about that, somebody on my Facebook page, a friend of mine that I know personally, she said that when I was talking about different aspects of the classroom and how we had a lot of rules and things, she said she posted a picture of Borg, their spacecraft, right. And then she said, like the Borg, ? And that was interesting because that was the, one time when we finished watching, I don't know if it was I think it was the Star Trek movie, maybe, where the
Borg
was
there's one
featured.
where they feature pretty heavily in one of the movies, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we watched it in the classroom, and this was well after T was outside our vehicle by that point, and her human vehicle, and as it finished, though, I don't know if he lived with us in that house, that craft we called him, but he said, yeah, that we're like the Borg, like the next level is like the Borg. And I remember, like, I kind of like inside, I didn't, have any judgment of it, but it was like, it was difficult for me to equate the Borg with the next level. But the way that he meant it was that they were operating as one mind, and that they had to go back to the craft to get charged. And the next level, you don't necessarily have to go back to the craft to get charged, but you have to stay connected to your older member. You have to be performing the tasks that your older member gave you. And those aren't trivial tasks. They're not robotic. There's nothing about the next level that's robotic. They can make robots to go places where their vehicles would be damaged if they had biological vehicles.
And they don't want to get, just throw souls away.
Right. Right, because, well, yeah.
As far as you wouldn't want to send a next level member there or somebody else, like, to the surface of the sun.
Right.
Because their vehicle couldn't stand it, but a robot could.
Right, exactly. So...
Doe used that example. I didn't come up with that.
Doe used that example?
Yeah.
The one you just recently heard? Because I've been using that example for a while, but I didn't know if I remembered actually Doe saying it. He did say they could make robots.
I thought he talked about it in one of the Beyond Human, but maybe I heard you say it?
Maybe, I don't know. But he said that Next Level makes robots to go places where a biological vehicle would be damaged by going to those places. So I thought of the sun related to that as a potential.
I wonder
not
if
that
I
he
heard
actually.
That from you then. See
if
how
he did,
easy it is to kind of get off track?
Yeah, it is kind of easy to get off track. So it's good to have check partners for that. So,
will you be my check partner, baby?
Yeah. We're each other's check partners. And in fact, Kathy just brought up a subject that was, in a sense, difficult for me to hear. That she heard.
That was not my fault.
No, it's not her fault. I think it was good that she brought it up because it clarified what some of my lessons were in the classroom.
We were moving up here yesterday, and it's about an hour-long trip, and it was stressful because it was raining. We actually, when we were just a couple exits, about 5 miles away from the campground on, what is that, I-95? What is that road?
Yeah. 17.
Is that 17 is the first one that we take out of Savannah, and then we move up to 95. Right. But there was a actually it was on 17. It runs parallel to 95. There was a RV. It was an RV too. It wasn't a fifth wheel. There was an RV that looked like it had been towing a Jeep, I think is what the tow vehicle was. It was hard to tell because the RV was in the embankment. It was like on the side, and it was, kind of cattywampus, not level because they'd skidded off the road, and their tow vehicle looked like it had, like the top of it looked ripped off. I don't even know like how many times have you, like usually in the movies when you see cars flipping, the top gets smashed down, but this is like it got peeled off. It was the weirdest thing. It
and the hood was all
trashed.
Yeah, and it looked like it maybe even caught on fire.
It was pretty shocking to see, especially because it wasn't raining anymore. But it was just like that, like you can lose control, and so we were going a lot slower than we normally would, and I was a little anxious, so I put a tape on, and I put on 585. Which actually is interesting because it talks about when they were going to go public. Before they made the Beyond Human series, Sawyer and Alex Odie were partners, and they were doing Partners of Two, and they were filming themselves and making tapes like Doe did for the Beyond Human series, because initially that's apparently what the instruction was to let the students do the filming instead of Doe. And I think that was because both he and T wanted the students to grow and to share the message of the next level. That's like almost all the tapes that we listen to. It seems like at one point Doe is talking about telling people what they're doing.
Yeah.
And what the message is. So
it's the dominant thing throughout all the tapes.
It's crazy
One of the
how
most
much
dominant.
it's so clear that they wanted their information to be available to people to hear and see and know, so you can make the choice whether you want to serve or believe.
And that's what it would be the task of any believer
So
to do.
I was listening to that. One part of that, of tape 585, that was interesting, was Doe was talking about the truth is not static. The process, whatever, is not static. It's changing. There's things to adapt to. It's a learning process. But that's not. Towards the very end of it, Doe was talking about music, and I can't remember who said it, but they said, well, I remember we stopped listening to rock music when back in Wyoming or something, that we weren't listening to the radio or whatever. And Doe was commenting that music was difficult because it would take you back into your humanity. It would cause you to, reminisce about, like, when you'd heard that song. I'm adding more to it, but...
No, that's what, yeah.
But I am adding more to it, than what he said in that. It was the very, very end of the tape, and then the tape was over. And we had maybe 20 minutes left of driving, and I was like, well, maybe tape 586, he'll pick it up, because he said music, what we learned was music, and then it cut off, and I was like, crap, I really want to know what he's saying, because that's a lot of Mark and Sarah's position of, or at least Sarah's position, that, she said to Sawyer, how he felt about your music, is what she said, but more about, like, how he felt about music in general. And so I wanted to hear more about that. So I put tape 586 on, and it wasn't talking about that at all. It wasn't a continuation, unfortunately. But what it was Sawyer's, Doe speaking directly to Sawyer. And they had about a 3-minute long conversation at the very beginning of this tape. And immediately when I heard it, I thought to myself, don't tell him you heard this. Which was really weird. It was a really weird thought to have, like, don't bring that up to him. Don't let him know that you heard this.
Because I was getting a lesson. A strong lesson.
Yeah. And I'll let you. But then I told him, and I played it for him.
No, I'd like to hear what you say about it. Because maybe I think you might express it in a way that's...
Well, what Doe said to you was that, I guess Sawyer had said to him that Sawyer felt that Doe was restricting him. That he could be a lot freer. They were talking in the context of these videos that they were all filming. And so Sawyer must have said something like, well, I could say a lot more if I didn't feel restricted by you. Or something of that nature.
Yeah, I don't think I said it exactly that way.
I'm sure you didn't, but Doe, it affected him, and he said it was sticking in his craw. That
he also said that that I said something about I appreciate you.
Well, no, that was towards the end of it. The beginning of it, though, was that Sawyer had said he felt restricted by Doe, and he told Doe that, and Doe said that he was waiting for Sawyer to write a note about it and, go over it, but it was as if Sawyer had forgot he said that. And Doe was saying that was a major offense, that it was worse than the other note, like that Sawyer had been writing him notes, but hadn't brought that up. That's why Doe was bringing it up in the meeting, because Sawyer hadn't addressed it yet. And he just said that that was a major offense because, and he hoped that Sawyer would understand why it was a major offense to say to him, you're restricting me, basically. I can't express what I want to express because of you, basically.
Yeah, which I didn't have that in my head, but that's what it amounted to.
And then I guess towards the end of their taping, day prior or whatever it was, that while they were all kind of filing out of the room and Doe was leaving the room as well, Sawyer said, well, you know, he said this to Doe, we appreciate your effort here. Or it's not that we don't appreciate your effort here. And Doe was just like, you're, where's your head at? Your head must not be in the right space if you're going to be saying that to me.
Yeah, because he's not there for us. He's there for his older member. It doesn't, we don't give him lessons. We don't need to praise him.
He said he didn't need, Doe brought up, I guess Evie's feeling a little crazy. Doe had brought up that Sorority wanted to like protect him at times.
Yeah.
And like maybe shield him from things or whatever, and Doe said, I don't need your help. I don't need to look to anybody except for T, his older member.
Right. And so that was the lesson that Sorority got. So he wanted to drive it home because it was such a strong lesson, but it comes on to us very subtly.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like that's that big of a deal.
We don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And people now could hear this and think, why is Doe upset about that, But, see, the whole thing, this is a training program. This is like an astronaut training program.
Right.
To be an astronaut on a spacecraft.
Doe said that it was as if, my teacher is great, but
yeah. Right.
I can do it better.
Right. So that's like now when Kathy first started to play this or tell me about it, before she played it, I didn't remember it.
Yeah, so I was like, let me just play it for you.
But then I realized that the way I remembered it was the time where I got a lesson, and I can actually see that room, and only like about 8 or 9 or 10 students were in there, including myself.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a really small meeting.
And we were kind of, Doe brought us together to kind of go through some options. And I said some things. And Doe later told me that he felt like I was competing with him. So that's what I had in my head, that I was competing with him. And I know I went on a downer for about 3 days after he said that to me, because I didn't really realize it, how I was competing with him. But it really goes to what T told me was one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn that would keep me off the spacecraft. That's the way they thought about it. In other words, you wouldn't be able to graduate to have a position of service on a spacecraft, on T's spacecraft, or in T's group, or T's organization, if I kept on having this characteristic.
This booger.
This booger, right, an influence, a big influence.
Evie, come here, what are you doing?
Not a tiny discarnate, but one of those fallen angel souls.
Yeah.
And that sought to get people out of the group.
Yep.
And that I was entertaining, and I didn't even know I was entertaining, because he'd probably been with me for who knows how long, even before the group.
Well, and then Doe brought up that it was the same as you saying to T, what's that black stuff on your eyes?
Right, because when I first met T and Doe in
Come
person, we met in a car in Wyoming.
What are you doing?
Sitting in. They took turns with having students come into this car they were sitting in, and ask them questions if we had any questions. And I got into the car. I got into the front seat, and T and Doe were in the back seat. And I got in with my partner, in the front seats, and he said, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, "Why is T wearing makeup or black stuff on her eyes?" She wore some mascara on her eyelids, like just on the rim of the eyelid, the eyelash area. She didn't have like dark eyelids, but just mascara on the eyelashes part. And and T's response to me was, "It's none of your business." And
I don't know why that always cracks me up. I'm sorry.
well, Doe kind of, I got the feeling like he kind of smiled, a little bit, and I was uncomfortable when she said that, of course. And my partner, Dan Doty, who didn't stay in the group very long, she was uncomfortable with it too, I think, but we didn't talk about it between us. But the reason why T wore eyeliner was so that she would blend in with other women of her age group when she was out and about in the world, buying supplies for the group or whatever they were doing. And because she felt like her eyes, people were, I don't know what their response was, but it's like they were, well, I think her eyes were so full of power that people didn't know how to take her. And not that, that can sound crazy, but I mean,
Everything we say sounds crazy. It's okay.
Right. But, so nobody not knowing who T isn't going to see them as being anything special necessarily. But anyways, but T felt like this is something that she needed to do to blend in the world that she had to operate in. It wasn't to be attractive to somebody or to, because she had some lack of self-image or something, she wanted to decorate her eyes. It wasn't because of that at all. T had a function for it that was related to the next level in terms of communication with people in general, how she would come across. And that's why also that she sent letters to Terry, not for T. T didn't need to send letters to Terry. She was doing it for Terry. She wanted Terry to have a chance to accept the positivity from her vehicle's mother up and leaving suddenly within less than a year from when she met Doe. And they had been very close in life.
Yeah, they were really close. It seemed like.
And so it was very devastating for Terry to experience that. And Doe also hurt a great deal from Terry's being hurt. So the reason she sent the letters was to try to calm down her anxiety about her not being there. And Terry didn't understand that was happening for that reason.
And to protect the group as well.
Yes, to protect the security. That's why T didn't go visit her. Or because she didn't want to give her too much of a dose, because that's almost worse. To be separated from somebody that loves you or you love them, and then to go back and forth.
Yeah.
And keep on stimulating that connection, and then breaking it again. And so, when T knew that she wasn't going to go back to be a human mother to Terry, because T was totally knew who she was. She had awakened totally. Well, not, yes, she had awakened as much as you could awaken in a human vehicle. I'm sure T awoke in that vehicle. So she knew who she was.
Without breaking that vehicle, but she did break the vehicle.
Right. It's a good point, because it does break down the vehicle, bringing next level mind into it and dealing with the negativity from the world.
T and Doe talked in at least one tape about the headaches that they would get in the beginning when they were awakening. It had to come in gradually, or else they would literally shatter their minds, the human mind.
And Doe said when T left, before he did, that he understood why. It's because T's vehicle broke down, and T didn't have any instructions to try to reverse that while she was in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because it was part of the plan to begin with, and that's what Revelation 12 talks about.
Do you want to go into the chat before?
Sure.
I don't know if you were finished with what you were...
Well, just the one aspect about what T told me was that I was a little too pleased with myself. A little too pleased with self is the exact words that she used. Mm-hmm. She actually gave notes to, I think, every student. What I understood, every student was going to get a note from T that said the things that we needed to work on, each of us. And I don't know what anybody else's note said because it was private between me and T. And mine said, a little too pleased with self, likes to be seen as something special, and sarcastic with people, humans. The way we talked about humans was the people that were not in the classroom. And when we were working jobs and things, I had some lessons that I was sarcastic with people sometimes, and because they would be screaming and yelling at the cooks and stuff against the waiters, and I'd tell them, why do you have to use those swear words and stuff?
Well, a perfect example of Sawyer being sarcastic was last night. We were arguing over the lawsuit, which seems to be, if we argue, it's about that. And I was trying to get my point across, and he was trying to get his point across. We both know each other's points because we've argued about this a couple of times. And he said to me, "What'd you say?" It really pissed me off. You said something like, "Do you understand?" or...
Yeah, I did say that. Do you understand? Because I didn't think that we were on the same page in terms of understanding what we're talking about.
And I have a know-it-all influence. So when he was our sarcastically kind of, well, do you understand? Kind of thing, and I was just like, I just looked at you and I gave him the look. What did you say? The evil eye.
The evil eye, yeah.
And I said, yes, I do.
Right, but see, I don't know if that was the best example of sarcasm, because I really didn't have in my vibration. I didn't feel it, at least. Maybe I had it, but I didn't recognize it. But I thought that we were just not understanding the same information.
Well, I knew what you were saying, just like you knew what I was saying. I know that we have.
It sounded like you were saying something different. That's what happened to me. I don't know. but yeah, okay. If that's another lesson for me to recognize how I can be sarcastic. I don't even know it. See, this is an example of how check partners need to work together. Like, for instance, like we serve as mirrors for one another. Yeah. This happens to people in the world as well, of course.
And just normal.
We're in the world right now, and but I mean, this is a lesson that everybody potentially has, to where if we're working with somebody, they can be a mirror for us. And so if they bring up something to us that's a criticism, that instead of like lashing out at them and saying, "Oh, that's a bunch of lies, blah blah blah," that's stupid, or you're a piece of dirt and all that, going back at them, think about it and say, well, thank you for that observation. I'll examine it.
Yeah, that's it's just like when when I reacted the way I reacted, he was like, well, why do you have to come back like that? And it was just like, okay, that was my cue to, you're overreacting, we don't really have any meanness towards each other.
Right, and I apologized for that later, and even though I didn't know exactly, well, I knew that we had bad vibrations in a sense between us.
We were really tired.
Yeah, we were really
tired.
tired.
Been doing a lot of stuff, and
yeah.
pushing
Of course,
ourselves.
we
So
become weaker a lot of times when we're really tired in a lot of different ways, mental discipline and everything. So, uh, but it's all good, if you push through it
yeah, we worked it out.
and try not to.
We always work it out.
But but the thing with the likes to be seen as, no, a little too pleased with self. That didn't really hit home to me the whole time I was in the classroom. And but then when I left, no, right before I left, almost some months before I left, maybe 6 or 8 months before I left, I was given, Doug gave us permission. I know it sounds weird to say that he gave us permission, but we wanted him as our teacher. So you want to do only what the teacher gives you if you want to be in the classroom.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he gave us permission to talk to T directly, even though T was outside our vehicle. Because previous to that, the instruction was that, when T was in our vehicle and we wrote notes, we would write them to T and Do. We would put on the end, on the note, T and Do, or links.
I was gonna say, what about the links thing?
LNKS, which was short for LINKS.
Because they were pipelines directly to the next level.
Right. And so they were our links to the Chief of Chiefs, even. And that we couldn't skip links.
Yeah.
And so T's task was to help Doe. Doe's task was to put into motion the task that T gave Doe in relationship to us. That's the way it works in the next level. There's no, like a teacher isn't working for the students. The teacher is working for their teacher.
That's right, yeah.
And that's a safeguard. It's a huge safeguard. Because if you're working for the students, you can be easily influenced by them. If they like you and you like the way they look, and what they say about you, all of a sudden you'll be favoritism toward them, right? But in the classroom, there was no favoritism because Doe wasn't working for the students. He was working for his older member.
Yeah.
And that was very clear throughout the tapes. This is one of the, there's a bunch of characteristics that make T and Doe's teachings stand out as way different than everybody else. Everybody else in the human kingdom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of commonality also with different teachers in the human kingdom, and also in the record books with Jesus and Elijah and Moses and Krishna and Buddha and Enoch and Adam and the different leaders that started the religions. Muhammad, I guess, to some degree. Also, I don't know too much about what Doe thought about Muhammad, although he respected the way that people in the Islamic faith seem to care more about what God thought than about what they did. Of course, there's extremists in every religion, that would promote
kind of
killing each other and all
ruin
that.
It for everybody else.
Yeah, but in general, Doe thought that even wanting to be more chaste in appearance was a next level kind of teaching, in order to not stimulate sensuality as much. And so Doe thought, well of it. And nowadays you have Christians that think that Islam is the devil. That's the Antichrist, is Islam. I know, I debated with people about that a number of times, that they're not any more the devil than any of us. We only have parts of us that are anti-next level. And these characteristics that I'm talking about now, my lessons, Kathy's lessons, are anti-next level. That's why next level programming I'm talking about. Now, programming is another word that can be very disturbing for people to think about. What do you mean programming? We're all programmed? And yes, like for instance, let's say you're an alcoholic and you want to kick it. Okay? Well, you have to accept a new program in your brain of things to say to those thoughts that want you to drink alcohol. Okay? So that's putting a next level program into effect because you're taking control of your vehicle. Where that's what they mean by programs. And the next level, and T and Do were providing lots of programming from the next level because they knew the next level's programs. And what's the biggest distinguishing aspect of the difference between everybody else and T and Do's teachings? We just heard it on the tape yesterday, right? Was that humans are all about mammalian behavior, seed-bearing plants.
Oh,
In other words, reproduction.
Yeah.
That's what pretty much dominates this kingdom. And the next level isn't about seed-bearing reproduction, sexual reproduction, at all. They don't do that. That's not part of their kingdom. Their vehicles don't have that plumbing. They don't have that desire to produce little offspring that they then raise in families. And Jesus' teachings were the same thing. And that's why you can see how different that is from everything else. Now, some of those teachings are also in other records of other religions, and like the Buddhism. But they've all been distorted. Anyway, maybe that's enough on all that. So, but being a little too pleased with myself, I'm just going to put a final sentence on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it had to do with when I was talking to T in my head, when Doug gave permission to do that, I asked T some things, and I felt like I got a response back. And I ran that by Doe because that was the instruction. If you do talk to T and you ask her something, tell me what you feel came back to you. And I felt like I had a response, and I told it to Doe, and Doe said to me, sounds like something T might say. That's how he responded. And anyway, so we left it at that, and I continued to talk to T on occasion while I was at my Autocraft task, my job in the world. I was a programmer at the time. And I remember saying to T, I want a task like Doe has. I want to have, I want something more difficult, which was showing that I was pleased with what I had accomplished in the classroom, and then all of a sudden, I was faced with not having any control over my vehicle. And
Careful what you ask for.
yeah, so T gave me exactly what I needed to see that Doe would have been up against. The influences that go to Doe are stronger than the influences that went to the students, because the next level made sure to it that the students weren't overcome. And so Doe actually had the individual that was called Lucifer, was his nemesis, if you want to put it that way. His fire, his exercise program, his fertilizer to conquer, and used for growth of the mind by dealing with. And so they said that all the students were assigned boogers, we called them, which were those fallen angel souls.
So they wouldn't seem as scary.
Yeah, right. And we weren't giving them that much seriousness by using that little. They didn't explain that, but I think that's what it also meant.
Well, I feel like I had heard that in a tape where Doe said, we call them boogers because it, doesn't make it seem as scary and serious and terrifying.
Yeah.
Instead of saying the demons running around in your head.
Right. Because you think, how can I overcome a demon? That's so ugly, it's so difficult, I can't do it. It's like you can think that. Because the vehicles are programmed to think that way, right? From genetically and environmentally, in our upbringing of these vehicles. and so but you're giving them too much power
Yeah.
just to think of them that way. They actually have they can be very shrewd, and they can come attack you all times, and you can get depressed by it. It might take you some time to get over it, and to look for the positive in it, and to learn to overcome that by not giving into it again and again and again, and going on a downer again and again and again. We can learn to outgrow that pattern, and then it can become like a mosquito. That's the way T would talk about it. It's like there was mosquito thoughts, and she would just zap it
Shoo.
in her mind, and it would be gone from her consciousness.
Okay.
But it's going to come back again, because we're in the human kingdom. As long as we're in the human kingdom, we're subject to the lower forces.
I just got bit by a mosquito 3 times around my ankle. But you know what you put on mosquito bites? Toothpaste. They immediately stop itching.
I'd heard that.
It's great.
I don't think I ever did it, though.
Didn't I put toothpaste on you?
Yeah, you did it to me one time.
Oh yeah, I did it to
I
you.
thought that was weird.
It works though. And once it starts wearing off and you itch again, you get nails full of toothpaste.
Okay, we're going to catch up with the...
We're catching up. We're catching up right now. Good. That's really good. Good for you to do that. I think the last thing you said was Boozer's here.
Boozer's here.
Hey, Boozer.
Heck yeah, sounds like good outing. Congratulations.
For the Oddities Market. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wasn't there for most of it, but it seemed like it was a lot of fun.
I didn't really circulate around the market too much.
Well, you're not allowed to. I mean, you are, but you got to stay behind your booth.
Yeah.
Talk to people.
Dave Coleman says hi.
Hello, Dave.
Hi, Dave. And old school Dave says hello to Dave. And Dave Coleman says, hello back to Dave. Go old school Dave. And then Casey Strange is here. Hello.
Hey, Casey.
Dave Coleman says, I remember hearing that Doe said the class should admire the unified mind of the Borg from TNG.
The Next Generation.
The Next Generation. Oh, yeah. Don't remember where I heard that. Yeah, I'd like to remember. Maybe he brought it up in the Beyond Human tapes.
I don't think so.
No?
I could be really wrong about that, but I don't think so.
Right, the unified mind. I'm glad you brought that up like that with those terms, because I forgot those terms that were I think, the terms he used. And, they were going to keep on persisting, the Borg, until they accomplished their task. They weren't going to give up on their task.
Well, their
vehicles
task was,
didn't matter to them.
Yeah, their task was was universe. Everything in creation, assimilation.
Right. Resistance is futile. Well, the same thing with the next level. Resistance to the next level is futile. No
But
matter
you don't
what.
have to acknowledge it. You can just go through life and you got free choice.
Right.
You got free will. The Borg didn't offer that to their victims.
But you have humans now that think that they can, some of them think that, the next level is, they don't think of it as the next level. They think of it as space aliens that are the bad space aliens. And that they're coming to destroy the planet and take over the human kingdom. When it's the next level that is in charge of any kinds of recycling that destroys the surface of the planet. Because Doe said the planet is still very good.
Yeah, and the next level doesn't waste things. They don't throw things away. But I wonder if they would allow the space aliens to do a form of the recycling, as to kind of.
Yeah, well, Doe said that in the USA Today, that the space aliens unknowingly were actually assisting with the recycling.
Yeah.
The spading under, the pulling up of the weeds. In other words, the death of vehicles.
Yeah.
And that then the next level then chooses how to judge the soul or the spirit that is in the vehicle. And so humans, yeah, they end up being like accelerators to that spading up of the weeds. Now, which Jesus talked about, as the weeds would be pulled up, but you had to wait till the harvest was. You couldn't do it before the first harvest took place, because otherwise you might damage some of those souls taking vehicles in order to graduate. And that's another whole discussion that I won't go into right now. But so that's happening now, I believe, more than when they were here, when the group was still incarnate in their vehicles. And that's part of the title of this, Signs and Wonders, which we'll probably get to in a little bit after I go through the chat. Now, that was really cute about the check partners.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm glad you appreciate it, Checker 222. Drift plays. Hey, Scott, checking in. Hey, Scott, checking in. Okay. Casey Strange says volume is very quiet. Oh, really?
Is anybody else having that problem?
Volume is very quiet. Hello? I think it's going to the same spot it normally does. Oh, we don't want it that way. Yeah, is anyone else having that experience? I'll zip down to the bottom of this, see if there's anybody who's responding. Dave Coleman says, I'm not personally having that problem. I'm not sure what it is, Casey.
It might just be on his computer.
Buttons and Rubber says, hey guys, long time no see. Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Drift plays. What does 3SPM stand for? It stands for Third Stone People's Movement, which was initially an idea I had for a name of a band that never became more than me. And Casey says Third State People's Movement.
Well, that's not what it means from you, though.
Right. For me, it's Third Stone.
Because it's the third planet from
right.
the sun.
Which Jimi Hendrix coined that term, really, I think. Third Stone. Third Stone from the sun, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. I remember him. I was in high school. My vehicle was in high school when he put out his first album, Are You Experienced? I loved it. Dave Coleman says, what is the third state? Right, it's not third state, it's third stone. MW1 online says, can AI enhance human understanding? I don't think so. I mean,
Artificial intelligence? What's the question?
Can artificial intelligence enhance human understanding? I don't know how they could. It could. Because all it can do is give us options that were programmed for it to observe. Right?
I mean, I suppose that people could, have, be inspired, have revelations.
Sure.
Because there's like that artificial intelligence chat thing where you can ask this computer, I guess it's an app on your phone, and you're just like chatting back and forth with a
Mm-hmm.
computer and asking it questions, and it's generating stuff. It can generate poetry, and I mean, like the coloring books that I've been starting to get are are artificially intelligence generated, where the person's putting in things and saying, bohemian looking fairies with, whatever tattoos on their face or whatever, and it generates lots of hair, and you put prompts into it and then it generates it, and then boom, you just made
Right.
art.
So, like even Google and different browsers, when the search bar, you can type in, "What about this?" and a question about this, and it goes through its databases to come up with answers, and then right. So, yes, when it's giving you answers, then you can that can be seen as artificial intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and those answers could give somebody more understanding about certain subjects, right? So yes, in that way. But the way I was hearing it, that I don't think you're going to get next level understandings unless that's what
Yeah,
the
I would.
question's about.
Yeah.
Like what did T and Do say about such and such? If their database, all their tapes were transcribed and were in a database and everything, then AI is still artificial intelligence. It's not a true intelligence, in my opinion. It's a
Right, it's a
facsimile of
programmed, and yeah.
intelligence. The way that the Luciferians are a facsimile of existence, of a being. MW1 says, I can hear fine.
Wow, it sounds like someone's pulling in. Well, that's probably just a
Casey says, what if we
car.
took the information from the tapes and had an artificial AI go over it? Right, exactly.
That would be intense.
Right. I don't know what. I know, the computers can learn. In a sense, it's learning. It's really just mimicking, though, isn't it? I mean, it's putting the options together. Because I was a programmer, and I remember writing code that said, if the data contained this information, then do this. And if it was this information plus blah 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 blah, then do this and do that and add to the database. And so in that way, the database keeps growing. Then there's more options and more different variables involved. And that's what SQL is, sequential query language, which is a language that a lot of software products use, database management. You know, to select to put keywords in an order, and then have the results come back in the order that those keywords were input. That's why you can get different responses, like on Google, depending on the order in which you put things in. Dave Coleman says it could spread basic information, but if someone tried to argue with it, I feel like it could go wrong. Bing AI just went haywire if you want to see screenshots of how that went. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that. I did hear about that Bing was coming out with a new AI product, and I haven't tried to use it. I generally don't. There was something about that Bing AI that was very distasteful for me to. Like they were going to, like it felt like they were going to use it, like with the facial recognition software, in order to judge people, and determine who's worthy of, certain benefits and whatever, based on some computer profile of the person. there's been all kinds of science fiction about this
Oh,
kind of
don't
thing.
forget to hit the like button, you guys. You know what I just did is I sent an email to the Chatham County Public Library. Okay, I already hit the like button on it. There's only 8 likes and we need more. We need more. Maybe not, I don't know. I sent an email to the library to ask about the USA Today issue.
Oh, okay. Good.
Because that was just on my mind.
Yeah.
Anywho, artificial
right.
intelligence.
So NW1 just said AI can replicate someone very well. I guess,
Maybe
there's
that's a movie.
question marks
If
you
there,
put on.
I've already seen iRobot, but I kind of don't remember how it went. So maybe we're gonna watch a movie after we do a live stream, and we've been watching some sci-fi stuff. Oh, we watched something silly last time though. Galaxy Quest.
Oh, Galaxy Quest. That was funny though.
We watched it.
I mean, there's been some movies that strike me as so corny. I mean, I don't mind corny.
Well, do you think that was a corny movie? I guess it was.
No, it wasn't. In fact, I really like those
The
individuals,
aliens.
the aliens. The way that leader of that aliens, his vibration just feel like he was like positive all the time, and and yet when he was faced with the reality that this was a show, and that they were lying,
thought was real. That they thought
they
was
were
real.
lying. He was like really, that was depressing to him, and
He was pretty upset.
yeah, because they put it on they were putting that whole show on a pedestal.
They called it the History Records.
Yeah.
They built this shit. I mean, it's a great movie. If you guys have Netflix,
It is.
it's super cute and
It's
it's fun. It's
a
easy.
good
It's
movie.
lighthearted. It's
Yeah.
You don't have to think. You just watch and
It's
fun.
It's fun. Yeah. I like Tim. What's his name?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. In general, I grew up with. No, I didn't grow up with him, but my daughter grew up
Yeah.
with his movies.
And
Santa
mine
Claus
did
and
too.
all
Yeah,
that.
Santa Claus too, and
So I watched them a bunch of times, and I liked them. I like
Yeah.
them all, pretty much. He may be a terrible person in person. I don't know.
well, I've heard some things, but isn't everybody?
Yeah.
But if anybody has any suggestions for movies that involve artificial intelligence that are on Netflix or Amazon Prime, maybe throw them out there. I've already seen, I think it's called Tao, T-A-O, or T-A-U. I've already seen that, and it was okay. It's like a home computer that, security computer. It's kind of stupid. I've already seen Mother, which I thought that was kind of stupid too.
So,
I've already seen Chappie.
MW1 Online says AI, the new Heaven's Gate key? Question mark?
No.
No. No.
No.
The key is the training program, and Doe provides the key. He's the gate. Nobody gets to. Jesus said this, that nobody gets to the Father except through me, is what Jesus said. And it's the same thing. Nobody gets to T except by going through Doe. So he's the gate open. He's got the key. His mind, his teachings, is the key that all students can learn to exercise, to have, to get through the gate and stay in the next level. Because they don't let you in unless you prove to them that you want it. There's
And
no
that
automatic.
your mind is strong enough
Yeah.
to handle it.
Yep.
You got to leave behind the human condition, basically.
And then Dave Coleman says, in my Heaven's Gate Discord, someone showed me an AI chatbot for Doe. It worked well
wow.
for him, but not for me. Very funny results. Oh, really?
Great.
to see
probably don't want to see that.
because I'd have to write something about it.
Disheartening.
Yeah, I know, but everything can be used for a positive. Even
Well,
the
it's
negatives.
interesting that anybody would even want to do that.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what Sarah was afraid of, right? In a sense.
Yeah.
And when I said to Sarah about that, I said, well, how are you going to stop that? You're not going to stop that by copyrights. I didn't say that to her, but that's, and by going after people and trying to get them to take this down, take that down, I mean, maybe some of that is from Doe's mind, to go after people and the copyrights, but to apply that to everybody is ridiculous. Let's see, EDA is still here, hanging in, or maybe she took a break and came back. IO Walks just sent us an orange.
Ooh, I like oranges.
Yeah, we haven't had any for a while.
I know. What's up with that? We've been getting
I'm
the
craving
grapefruit.
it right now.
It's the grapefruit seed extract that takes care of all our vitamin C needs.
Yeah. So EDA says, have you watched OA? Is that OA, right?
Isn't that a series, though? I think that's a series, and we're not really...
I mean, we could
It's a
watch
lot of
parts
time.
of the series.
Yeah, but it's like so much like
You don't have to watch
invest.
it all at once, right?
No, you don't watch it all at once, but it's like
I
if
watched the series.
there's several seasons, OA, I believe, is like a set of people that have like extraordinary powers, or they have some kind of... I'm not exactly sure. I know my daughter was watching that a little.
So I don't know. I guess maybe we'll consider that, but haven't watched it. No. And
No.
IO Walk says Open AI is the most powerful I've used yet. Open AI. Okay. MW1 says look up the Replika app. Replika. He spelled it. On the phone. EDA says it's mind expanding regarding the OA, I guess. Okay, well,
I think I've seen
we'll take a look at that at some point,
some
maybe.
previews or something.
Thanks for the advice on that. Let me see if there's anything happening over there in Facebook land. Where is it? Oh yeah, there's a lot happening in Facebook land. Holy smokes. I'm sorry I've been so slow to get over to here.
It looks like there's only 2 seasons, Donna, so is it over? Because I could get behind that if it's just 2 seasons. So I hate watching stuff that's still ongoing. Like, I hate waiting. Like, I waited for, I stopped watching The Walking Dead. Because I couldn't keep up with it live, and I didn't like, waiting so long. So I stopped on, like, season 4 or 5 is when I stopped. But now it's like there's 9 seasons, and I was just talking to Sawyer about, like, I really want to watch it, but at the same time, I don't want to...
She says it's all over. Yes, it's all over.
All right. We might do that.
So then in Facebook land, where
I like that.
Looks like nobody's here right now. Travis Collins says, sure miss seeing you all live streams. I'm glad that you all look to be doing good. Thank you. Over here I can actually click a like on it. Travis says then the last Sawyer post I just read about life with T and Doe in the late 70s and early 80s was awesome.
On your blog?
Yeah, I've been, writing stuff pretty regularly, mostly in response to questions, but other things that come to my mind. So Travis then says, T was the opposite of hypocrite. Yeah, I guess that would be a way to say
it. I like that way.
Yeah. And then Erin was here.
Erin, what's up,
doesn't sound like
sis?
she's here now, but
She has, did she say she had ADHD or OCD or something? I know there are two complete, well, then I guess they're not that completely different, but she's always telling us, you need to make your live streams less. so,
Left long.
so she can, like, watch it and not get distracted or whatever.
Yeah, I know that's a problem, but we like to
It's
go
good
through
that
all the
she
chats,
texted.
and then we have things to say, and
Erin calls me at least once or twice a month to make sure I'm not locked in the basement
but
because I got taken away by a crazy cult guy.
actually she took me away.
Right, so that's what we keep telling her. It's like, well, you might want to call Sawyer and check in on him because he might be in the basement. she's fun. I love her.
She says, "Oh wow," I'm not sure what I was referring to, but Travis Collins liked it, whatever it was. So then Travis says, "I can't even imagine how it would feel to meet Tiendo in a car."
I know, right? Being in that enclosed space.
Yeah, see
Well,
that
and you drove them. Sorry.
well, yeah, but that was years after that. But yeah, it was,
Be right back. Thank you guys for tuning in and hanging
It
out
was
with
intense,
us. We
for
really
sure.
appreciate it. I just wanted to say that. It's good to have a place to talk with people and yeah.
but see, for me, I was a little too young in recognizing them. I mean, yes, I respected them a lot. I mean, a tremendous amount. And yes, it was uncomfortable in some ways to be around them. But then the more that I was around them, the more comfortable I got. Yet that became a problem, like I was talking about earlier for me, because I started to treat them as I would have treated anyone else in a human vehicle. Which I'm not, generally someone that treats people poorly. I don't think. But in relative to who T and Do are, there's a certain amount of well, like I've said many times to the media, I was always in awe of them. But you can see where that kind of diminished to some degree in the later years, to where, yes, I was still in awe of them. Like when Doe was giving me the lesson that Kathy talked about, and we both talked about, in 1991, I think it was, that we have on tape, you can hear my responses to Doe, and it was honestly the way I felt, because he was giving me a very strong lesson with others present. And for some reason that never bothered me, that others were going to see me like I was embarrassed or anything by getting a lesson. I actually felt appreciative of the lesson, and that's a good characteristic. We all have characteristics that are not from the next level, and characteristics that are. I'd like to say all, but I mean, I don't know that everybody does. But it's a matter of, like Doe said in the Beyond Human series, it's a matter of degrees of how much next level mind we have in us.
Yeah.
And if we've got like 51%, we're doing pretty good. That would mean that every decision we make is based on what we think T and Doe would say about it. because that mind would dominate us in all our choices, in our decisions. Anyway, so Travis says that the volume is perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. Abby Rose is here. Hello.
Hey,
And
Abby.
it says, hi, guys. And it says, deep fakes.
Right. Remember
Talking
we
about
were
AI?
talking about that. Yeah. Abby, I was thinking about you the other day because I was supposed to message you back when we were going through the area that you live in, and I never did. And I was feeling bad about that, so I'm sorry. When we were driving to Pennsylvania and then coming back, we passed through.
Oh, right.
I can't remember where she's at in Ohio, but we don't
But
need
it
to.
was so late.
It was
and
late.
We were so tired.
We had to get oil. I mean, there's there's excuses, whatever.
And we had a
but
lot to do.
I feel bad that I never followed up with you on that. I apologize.
So, sometimes it's just, maybe we get lazy.
Yeah.
We shouldn't get lazy, in a lot of cases, because it would have been nice to meet you.
Or would have. And we were like right there.
But we'll do it again for sure, because we'll be going through that area. So if you're game, and anybody that's game, knows that we're traveling through a certain area, let us know. We generally, are talking about when we're going through a certain area.
We're blabbermouth in that way.
Yeah. Well, of course, you'd have to stay with these live streams or the Facebook page. I don't know if we announce things there.
Yeah, we don't really
Yeah.
post up an itinerary or anything, but
If it's meant to happen, like if the next level wants it to happen, then I think it'll come together.
one way or another.
But meanwhile, if we're each coming together with dough in our minds, that's that's the most important part of all of us.
I
So-
taste the cayenne in this now.
Oh, you didn't taste it before?
No.
Yes,
I
yes.
have a question for everyone that's still here. This March 25th event that we're doing, we're planning on... Did you want me to get you anything?
No, you can go do what you're talking about, and I'm going to go get the same thing you have.
I should have grabbed it for you. I'm sorry. Sawyer's going to do the computer dance. Wires and monitors and things, oh my. But we have what part of it, what we're going to do is we've got a question and answer session. We've got we'll have Sawyer and two other former class members, not Rio, because I wondered if people would wonder that. Two other members will be there, and we'll have a table in front of them, and they're going to be answering questions from the audience. And also, I think that what we're going to do is have me kind of emceeing and asking them questions so they can tell their stories of being in the group. And I also wanted to do a celebration. It is going to be March 25th, and that is when the group exited. So I wanted to do a celebration of the 38 crew members and then also of Doe, so 39 members of the group, where they'll just each member on the panel will discuss each student that is displayed up on the projector screen. But I wanted to know if you guys were coming to an event like that, what would you want to see? Like, we'll have our Tea and Dough shirts for sale, and then we'll also have Sawyer's book for sale, of course. But what would, if you guys were coming to that event, what would you want to see at that event? How long would you want it to last? Like, basically, I'm fishing for more ideas here. We'll probably have, like we did the last one, a special event t-shirt that'll be created by Chloe. She's an amazing artist and really good at that kind of stuff. We should have the flyers here pretty soon. We're kind of discussing all of that stuff right now. But yeah, what would you guys like to see in this event and also in future events up and coming? We'd like to get your thoughts on that.
And MW1 online says, I thought watching the original X-Files could teach me something, but got crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I used to watch that too.
And we watched it in the classroom, I believe, also,
Mm-hmm.
when it came out. And there was some, good things in it. But then,
It
yeah,
did
there
kind
was
of veer.
craziness.
Yeah,
stuff.
there was some kind of craziness too.
Yeah. And then MW1 online says, the Heaven's Gate seems more lessons with men. Well, I don't think so.
Yeah, I disagree with that too. There was more female members than there were male members. Or they were about split evenly. So
Pretty close to even. But, over time, sometimes there was more of one than the other. But I don't think that's true. But I don't know.
maybe the girls learn their lessons easier, so it doesn't. No, I'm just kidding. That's not.
Maybe they did. Maybe they were more advanced in some ways. But, I mean, you can hear, like in the tape that we just heard, we heard about Song Odie's lesson. She was in a female vehicle. And
I guess a lot of people are at a disadvantage because they don't have access to the tape, so they don't hear that stuff.
yeah. And Bran Odie was in a female vehicle. She got quite a few lessons. Annie Odie got lessons. June Odie
Talked a lot.
She talked a lot and got
No Rhodey talked a
had
lot.
some lessons. Nora Odie got a lot of lessons.
Those helpers who were the closest students to him, or the students that were closest to him and assisted him in his day-to-day life,
Yeah.
was Jan Odie and Liv Odie, both female vehicles.
And they got lessons, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Mill Odie, I can remember being corrected at times by Doe and
Wake and Odie.
I don't remember her being corrected. I'm just thinking about the lesson part of it.
No, not correction, but
Because it was about being corrected. I mean, if you didn't want to be corrected, then you didn't want to be in the class. You didn't want to be a student. Because a student has to be wanting to know what they're doing that would
keep them out of the next level.
keep them out of the next level from graduating. Otherwise, why be there?
That's the whole point of what you were doing.
Right. So, I mean, if you had a problem with, and a lot of people early on especially, had a lot of problems with defensiveness. To where, someone,
Let's see how.
the partner would bring up something to them, and they would say, I'm not like that, you're like that. Come back with the tit for tat kind of stuff. And it got to the point to where T and Doe said, okay, now the procedure is, the new program that you need to have in your head is that when someone brings up correction, you just say, thank you, I'll examine that. And then, if the shoe fits, try, put it on. But if the shoe doesn't fit, you don't try to force it on.
Yeah.
But of course, defensiveness can come in all different ways. You can say, well,
I may be like that, but you're like this.
Yeah, or right, or
You do this thing. That's,
I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't done this.
Yeah.
Or because it's because of you that I acted that way. And T and Doug didn't care about the reason why somebody had a poor response. They just knew that the poor response was what the lesson was. Even if somebody punched in the nose. I think T used an example like that, right? And I mean, you could say it was their fault, and then you punch them back, and you could say, well, they deserved it, but that's not the appropriate response for a member of the next level. A member of the next level would try not to be in a position that somebody would want to punch them in the nose to begin with.
Woo, this is hot. Now I taste the cayenne
Yeah, a lot of
pepper.
cayenne in there. So, let's see. So, Dave Coleman says, oh no, I forgot. MW1 Online says, which student do you wish most miss most of the class? And I don't really miss students. We didn't
They're
have that kind of relationship.
and they're still alive. They're here, so
Yeah,
they're not here. They're, fulfilling their obligations to the next level. They graduated.
right. They're not dead. I never felt like they were dead, ever. The vehicles are gone. Yeah,
Our souls don't die, guys.
right. Unless the next level decides that there's
Yeah.
nothing there anymore.
I mean, there's that popular saying of like, no one's getting out of here alive, but in fact, we're all getting out of here alive. You're going to keep coming back until you figure some things out, but.
Well, I mean, some might be recycled,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
And so we don't know if we're all gonna be.
But all of us that are here now have been here before and are getting another opportunity to hopefully learn the lessons that we need to, so we don't have to keep coming back here.
Right. If you don't turn against the next level, then you're probably going to be saved for a future opportunity. But then again, to assume it's never, I think, a good frame of mind.
Right.
Something. Let's see. Okay. MW1 Online says. Dave Coleman says, "Man, I wish I could go. Plane tickets are nuts right now. Will you stream?"
No,
No, we can't.
because of our lovely friends Mark and Sarah.
Yeah.
They used the last event against us in the lawsuit.
Yep. They tried to make it into a reason to put a preliminary injunction against us. And they didn't even tell us about it when they made a motion for a preliminary injunction. They waited until they had the final say, and then they put it in there. They could have put it in there right in the beginning when
Yeah, they didn't.
but they didn't.
On purpose, because they know the game. They know that there's only so many replies you can do in a lawsuit, apparently, and so they brought up a bunch of new allegations and knew that we couldn't respond, but we didn't know that, so we did respond, and then we got in trouble for it.
Yeah, and but the judge understood that we were trying to respond to the new allegations, because they would say things like, Sawyer agrees that he infringed upon the copyrights.
And he agrees
And I
that
never agreed to that.
he agrees that he should, have a preliminary injunction against him. It's like,
Yeah.
you
They say
fucking
these
nuts.
stupid things they say in there, and to me, I don't think it's fair at all to.
It's crazy.
Let's say the plaintiff brings up a complaint, right? And then the defendant has to answer to it, okay? Then the plaintiff brings up another complaint, in this case, and
Depending on the format, you can't respond.
but we respond to it the first time, and then
They twist it into something
and then the
different.
plaintiff gets to have the final say, and then they bring up something new. So why if they bring up something new, why shouldn't the defendant have a chance to defend themselves instead of looking like the last word was the truth when they're actually saying things that are lies? Lying seems
presenting
to be
new-
the rule.
Well, what we're learning, what I've learned, is that the justice system is the least just system in this world. You're not going to get any justice going through the justice system.
Well, sometimes you might, right?
It's the craziest thing. Or you'll get thrown in prison for a murder you didn't commit. And then they let you out 20-something years later and say, "Oh, we're sorry. We're
Yeah,
so sorry. Have a good life."
I'm not.
It's
We're
just crazy
hoping
that
that-
the thing that's supposed to,
Yeah.
uphold law and order, half the time isn't doing that. It's,
Yeah, because of
It's
the
just so
reason
crazy.
why I got called on the carpet by the judge was because the plaintiffs complained about the formatting of the documents, and that I made them too long. But I mean, the plaintiffs end up writing 113
Yeah, they could just say whatever the hell
statements
they want.
against me,
It's crazy.
but my answer wasn't restricted to the size. But then, when they put a motion against me to have a preliminary injunction against me, my response can only be 24 pages, double spaced, and in at least 12-point type, and
Apparently no exhibits, no proof.
and we didn't know that exhibits were part of that, and
I don't know if that's true.
well, but they said to us in one of the latest responses they were adding the exhibit pages in. Remember?
That's what Mark and Sarah's attorneys were doing.
Yeah. The judge still hasn't told us that that's the case. The exhibits is part of the response, but I guess maybe that's kind of assumed in some ways.
Oh, no, that seems crazy. You can't present evidence.
Yeah, because see, we keep on becoming more aware of more evidence in our defense, and so when we're accused of the same thing over and over again, and we have new evidence, we want to bring it up. But there's really no format for us to bring it up until the discovery process is over and there's a hearing of some sort or a trial. So I mean, we're glad that the judge is giving us another chance to respond to the last reply from the plaintiffs, and so we have to, at this point, the plaintiffs, Mark and Sarah King, were wanting sanctions against me in terms of money for us to pay their bills of their lawyers. To me, that's an injustice as well, because
they've been asking that.
I didn't start this lawsuit.
They've been asking that from the beginning.
Yeah. So
but now they're asking it in the form of sanctions.
So why should I have to pay for what they do? Because I don't, know how to follow the procedures according to the way that, exactly when it's not even spelled out that well.
No,
sometimes.
it's really hard to understand. I mean, it's not like hard to understand, but it is. There's so many like words. It's like, can you just say exhibits are allowed or not? Can you just, give us a bullet list but it's like this whole big, huge freaking
Yeah, I went
essay
to
you have to
the
read. It's
link
crazy.
that the judge gave us to go to
Ugh.
in the civil codes.
And again, like, we're working like 40, 50, 60 hours a week. So it's just like,
Just
when
to
do you
make
have the
ends meet.
time? When do you have the time to, like, go research all this stuff? It's very overwhelming and depressing at a lot of times, and
So
that's their strategy. They want us to give up, like,
I don't even know what that looks like, though, to give up.
right? Because we were talking about it, because I was just like, I can't anymore. I can't. This is just, it's too fucking much. And we understand why Rakoti's daughter just gave in. She just settled because she just couldn't anymore.
Because they're just going to badger her.
We're already preparing ourselves. We're trying to, it's hard to prepare mentally for something like this, but like, we're already preparing ourselves for whatever the decision is in the end, once all this is said and done, that if any of it is in our favor, they're going to appeal it. And it's just like, to me, I feel like we're just going to constantly be embroiled in this lawsuit with Mark and Sarah, when I just wish they would go away and we never ever had to think about them again. But here we are, and
nobody would be any worse for wear.
They
went away.
would think that, it's our fault and we brought it on ourselves and we should have listened to them and we should have done what they told us to do, and all this could have been settled back in that lawyer's office if we would have just
seen them as the authorities.
Right, if we would have
holders
just
of
acknowledged
information.
that Mark and Sarah, actually just Mark, owns all of everything from Heaven's Gate. You weren't even there when they created most of it. How
Right.
can you own things that you weren't even a part of? Like, it's just so frustrating and
Well,
mind-boggling
they got
and
the
just
courts to
insane.
give them
It's
some of
insane.
that authority, but they did it by illegal means,
It's complete insanity.
illegitimate, and we can prove that, I think, but
It feels like we've proved it 9 times over. But then Mark comes into the chat room and says, the defendant's delusions will be thrown out, and this channel is a distortion and not of Doe's mind. Like, he honestly believes that. So his lawyers are clearly, they're laughing all the way to the bank. They're like, oh yeah, Mr. King, you're gonna win. Oh yeah, we gotta draft up this, we gotta do that. We gotta do this, we gotta do that.
who knows what they got up their sleeves? Maybe they're going to manufacture documents that are going to somehow make try to trick the court into thinking that they have some authorization from Doe and crew to transfer to make copyrights.
They
Work
still
for
haven't
hire
even disclosed all the copyrights that they have.
Right.
They just disclosed another one. And I was just like, why wouldn't you have said that from the get-go?
Because we hadn't broken that one, so.
But still, we've asked them what all their copyrights are, and they say everything. Everything is.
Right.
You can't have anything.
Right. Which I always knew was a lie.
I
knew that was a lie.
My thing is we need to start approaching the fact that they're discriminating against us specifically. Like, no matter what, they're never ever going to give us permission to play the audios or even to have them because they don't like us. So it's like, if you wanted to make shirts about Lucky Charms, whatever, and you approached Lucky Charms and said, hey, I've got this idea, I want to sell these shirts, here's the design, you can get profits from it. Lucky Charms would probably be like, okay, whatever. Lucky Charms doesn't, or any kind of brand like that, doesn't care who you are. They just care that maybe they're going to make some money off of you. Or you're going to further their presence in whatever community, right? But Mark and Sarah, there's none of that. No matter what we do, they're never ever going to give us permission to have access to the things that Sawyer was sitting there for almost all of it. He's not supposed to have access to the Beyond Human series, and he was sitting there. It's just it's so mind-blowing.
Well, that's part of what they resent. That, I don't know. It is bizarre for us to think about, and I don't get off on having this negativity between us.
We wish we didn't have anything between us. That they would just
leave us alone.
Just go away.
Get out of the picture.
But I mean, that's not going to happen. But they're like horrible terminators, and they're never going to stop until they're destroyed or we're destroyed. It's just the craziest thing. It's completely mind-boggling.
Destroyed meaning
they want to destroy us.
they don't have the ability to
They hate us so
lord
much.
over us.
Like they try to hurt my kid.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah. All right.
That's messed up.
The event will be on YouTube, ?
Nope.
We don't know what we're doing. So right now, but we're not planning on
Nope,
putting
it
an
will
event.
not.
But we,
And you can
maybe
thank
we'll
Mark and Sarah for that.
we'll do a live stream though, so you won't be missing anything.
But we're not doing a live stream of the event.
No, but we might be able to do question and answer kind of thing.
I don't know. It's going to be dicey. It just seems like the safe bet is to just not even have to worry about that.
I was thinking about videoing it, so then we could, because we're not planning on having anything that's copyright. But you never know what they may claim is copyrighted.
Yeah, they're completely insane.
Or a derivative of a copyright. If somebody makes.
Well, they were just holding it against us, and they put in the lawsuit that Mr. Havel and Mrs. Weaver. Sorry, I just said your name. Shit.
Oh, that's okay.
That we made money, we profited, we were paid for our performances. Like, that's some horrible thing. You're damn right we got, paid. We were there for fucking 12 hours. Like,
yeah, I mean, we didn't get paid for the information.
It's not wrong to get paid.
Because the event wasn't just about. There was a lot of things that happened in that event.
So they'll use, that's.
So, I mean,
we don't want to give them any further ammunition.
Yeah.
And that we shouldn't even. I mean, sometimes I think we shouldn't even be live streaming. That we shouldn't even be talking at all, because they just. And we've been told this several times. They're just going to use it against us. But I think it's funny that their lawyers have to listen to 2, 3, 4, 5 hour live streams, and I hope they're charging Mark and Sarah a shit ton of money, and I hope they go bankrupt, and you can print that out and put it in the lawsuit. I don't give a fuck, because you're horrible, nasty, evil, awful people. So print that out and submit it. You should sue yourselves for being such assholes.
Okay, man, I wish I could go, says Dave Coleman. Oh, no, he said that already. The event will be on YouTube. I said, no, we don't think so.
Unfortunately.
Yet. But we do plan on doing this as long as we can all over the United States.
Which they use that statement against us as well.
Yeah, right, as if we're going to. But what they say is that we plan on infringing all over the United States. We're not infringing.
Nope.
So, and we can actually prove that we're not infringing. If this court case is allowed to, come to a close.
Or go to trial.
And even if it, because we've got more evidence now than that they don't even know we have. I'm going to leave it that way.
Yeah, I wonder how much a trial costs. Well, I mean, I know it costs a lot in mental anguish. And we're going to make damn sure that Mark and Sarah have to appear in court and that they can't just keep hiding behind their lawyers. We're calling them to testify. And it's going to be nice because if they don't have to come to Indiana, if the COVID precautions are still in place for the courtroom and everything is going to be, I don't think trials can proceed like that. I don't know. But it almost would be better because they're not going to be able to wear face masks. So everybody's going to see what they look like. And they can't hide anymore.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're allowed to. I don't know.
Why would you have to wear a face mask on a Zoom call?
Oh, right. Yeah, well, who knows what they would say about that. But anyway, I don't care about whether people see what they look like or not.
I do.
Yeah, I know. I understand that.
I'm sick of them hiding in the shadows. Because they're so worried about their security, but they can fucking publish my address.
Well, we'll still, MW1 Online, we'll still do live streams and we'll talk about it. So, you won't miss anything.
Unless they succeed in taking this channel down. Like I keep telling everybody to go to the Sawyer and Kathy channel. It's our faces. And subscribe to it. Because if they get this channel taken down, then we have to go to that channel.
Well, but you take one thing at a time, and we're not at that point.
Well, we are, though.
Well, I don't think so. I know
the preliminary injunction is going to be ruled on, and that's what they're asking for.
But I don't think they're going to rule on taking the channel down.
Well, but that's what they're asking for.
There's no infringements happening on the channel, so why take the channel down? And what's the basis of that? The judge can't just take a channel down without having actually concrete infringements on that channel. We don't have any infringements on the channel. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong.
I hope that you are right.
But I'll deal with that when it comes to that.
Well, I just like to prepare people.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But we're going to keep on talking somehow. It doesn't really matter if they were able to take the channel down. We'll just do it somewhere else. All right, so
did I see that Casey said something? A lot of stuff?
No.
Will you go up? What's all that writing right there?
Dave Coleman.
Oh, I don't have my glasses on, so I
yeah,
can't
but
see.
I don't think I read that. He says something autographed and rare. Says Dave Coleman says, I am still making my way through Beyond Human, so I don't want to go on such short notice to ask questions Doe may have already answered. If you do an event with CRL next year, I will spend the dollars to go.
CRL.
Yeah, we know who that is. That's Carloti he's talking about.
Oh.
Well, maybe Chicago, because we plan on doing an event in Chicago.
In June.
In June.
And yeah, it's totally not about like listening to us or seeing us or whatever. Not that I would say that, we're anything special that people actually like want to see or anything, but it is about Doe and T and the Beyond Human series and Last Chance to Evacuate Planet Earth before it's recycled, and Doe's Final Exit, even the students' exit statements. Like, that's what it's about. That's what people should be focusing on and looking at. Going to the heavensgatealso.com website, because that is an exact what Doe left to Wanodi to put up. It contains the same information that's on the Heaven's Gate site, and it's really tragic that Mark and Sarah have themselves become the way that they have. That we were just talking about this the other day, that it sucks that everything they touch feels like it's ruined. Like, the class made heavensgate.com. They also made heavensgatealso.com, and then another one as well.
Well, it wasn't called also.
It was Heaven's Gate 2.
They had Heaven's Gate to.com and levelabovehuman.com were the three websites that Doe and crew made. And Rick already managed all three of those initially.
Until Mark and Sarah wrested it away from him via lawsuit after he was dead.
Yeah.
And took it from his daughter.
But
it just sucks that they've
and then Riccardi was selling things on Riccardi.com.
Just sucks.
In order to support sending free audios to people and videos to people, which is completely in Doe's mind to do, I believe.
Yeah, well, he wanted everything sent to the press, so I
Yeah.
mean, that kind of gives you an idea of where he wanted the material to be,
Yeah.
out in the public, not hidden away,
Right.
and
Like Mark
being
and Sarah
judged by
done.
Mark and Sarah, like, oh, you're not worthy, you're not worthy, you're not worthy, you're not worthy. Nobody's worthy
See, the
except
problem
us.
is Mark and Sarah have been lying about certain things for so long that they don't want to see more people learning that they were telling lies for a long time. So it's one thing for them to hear me talk about what they lied about, and which I only bring those things up because it's not right. The, the truth needs to be able to be told, whatever it is, and for the people that flunked out, there's a reason why they flunked out. They didn't graduate, and it's because they didn't measure up. And they shouldn't be embarrassed about that. They should just recognize it and be willing to talk about it. But they're trying to hide it
Right.
so that nobody looks at them as being lesser because of flunking out. And so that's their own problem. But that's not right to let the public
Think
believe
that they
what
were
they're
the
saying about it.
that they were specifically left behind, like, they were told
There's something else
gotta,
to do.
you
is
got to
what they
stay
said.
behind so you can, maintain the website and keep our material. Like, that is not how it went down at all. They weren't even in the group anymore. They were not left behind to do this task. Just like Sawyer would argue with me, he wasn't left behind to do anything either.
No. No.
No one was. Doe said he made that very clear in one of the 1996 tapes.
Yep.
I'm not leaving anybody behind. That was the whole point of why he was here, was to take the group through the gate.
Right, and yet he didn't want anybody to go through that gate that didn't really want to do it. Be with him. Learn the lessons. And do whatever it took to learn the lessons. And for some of us, being here is continued opportunities.
Well, for
I mean,
all
for
of
everybody,
us,
for
yeah, for
everybody.
all of us being here is our opportunity to learn.
Right. There's
We're
lots
not
to
just
learn.
we're not just like Mark and Sarah would have everyone believe. We're not just sitting around waiting for the apocalypse or whatever. Like, there's things to do. Like, let everybody know.
Yeah, because you know
And
how many
let
people
know
out there
about them.
they have a little bit of a sense of that Tiando is very different from everybody else, but they don't really know why they feel that way. And so when you have someone in person that you can actually hear about, concrete examples, because the media doesn't, I'll give them 3 hours or 4 hours of interview, and they'll use, 1 minute from it or 2 minutes from it, or 3 or 4 or 5. HBO Max, did more. They actually did a pretty good job in respect to me, as far as I can tell. But a lot of the other people, don't give you much time.
Yeah, there was one interview that you gave, and you said it was 3 to 4 hours, and all they used was the castration story.
Yeah. Yeah, the Vice people, right?
I don't remember.
Anyway, but not that any of these are bad people, but they're trying to write stories that are going to appeal to the public.
They've got a narrative that they want to follow.
Right. And they want to tell everything, and they want to put all different views in there. So naturally, they're not going to give me much time because my view is one of the least popular views. Saying something positive about them is the least popular, with Carl Odie as well. They used a tiny bit of what Carl Odie said. But at least they did use that piece that he said.
Right.
I don't know, in HBO Max, wasn't it, that he was shown saying, why does everybody have to only focus on the way they left?
Right.
Instead of focusing
Yeah.
on everything they
Remember
stood
seeing
for
that.
and believed. Which, of course, it's a huge story. There's a lot to it, and it boggles the mind
Yeah.
to think about a lot of the things that they were talking about. It goes beyond religion, way beyond religion. It's not religious. we didn't even get to the little Jesus things that we were going to talk about.
Well, what did you get through all the chat stuff?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then the Facebook,
If
so
those who can't go and do we want to load a plane to those who want to go to an event. Damn, not on YouTube. Someone on death row, I need to have faith in the justice system. You're on death row?
well, you wouldn't be on death row if they wouldn't be in the chat if they were on death row.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying that the only faith that you can have is faith in the next level.
Yeah.
Now, there are people in the justice system, there are lawyers, there are judges that are trying to do the best they can with their jobs. And I think that's the case. And we don't know
I do too.
who those are, but we know that there, overall, probably, there's a lot of injustice.
It's like politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember wanting to be a politician when I was in my teenage years and thinking, oh, that's the way, because it's like, well, let's bitch about everything all the time, but nobody actually changes it. And then, you research, and this is before the internet or whatever, so I was going to the library like, well, how do you change things? How do you, change things so it gets better in your community? And you have to, like, pass laws. Laws have to be created. Bills have to be introduced. Things have to be, done. And then you realize, as the more I researched, it was like, okay, well, the way that people get bills passed in Washington is by having lobbyists. So you have to have lobbyists that will lobby for your bill. And then it's like, okay, well, what are the lobbyists doing that are there now? What are they lobbying for? Corporations have lobbyists. Drug companies have lobbyists. Law firms have, like, all these people with lots of money, they're the ones that have lobbyists.
Yeah.
It's this whole crazy system. And so the lobbyists do their lobbying, and the politicians have to appease these people, and they have to appease the corporations, and they have to appease everybody. And the only people, the people they're not appeasing is their constituents, is us, actual people, living. It's this whole convoluted mess, and you have to, like, be involved in it to actually try to make any change to anything. And then you're part of that corrupt system. And then eventually, what's going to happen to you? You're probably going to become corrupt. Because there's no, I don't know, it's like there's no other option. It's like, it's horrible. It's awful. It's awful.
And then the one online says, at least neither of you are in prison. Can you stream the answers of the event? Yes. Well, I mean, we'll probably do a live stream some point before or after the event or something, like we always do. And yeah, I'll be glad to, stream the questions and answers. I could put something like that together.
Well, I don't want you to commit to something like that.
Well, I'm not committing to it like a contract.
I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't recommend to say, like, yes, we are going to do that, because the last event was very time consuming and crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, we're going to have to deal with the other two members being here and spending time with them, and I don't want to say, like, yeah, we'll go ahead and film it, but
I'll try.
I don't want to make any promises, and unfortunately, it is what it is.
Okay, so what's next? Someone on death row. Let's see.
Unfortunately.
He says, I bet you have faith that justice doesn't care the justice system. EDA is still here. Signs and wonders? Question mark. Oh gosh.
Yeah, well, the reason why we chose that, I suggested it was because right before we started the live stream, Sawyer opened up YouTube and was looking at all like the latest videos that were recommended to him, and there was one about a UFO being sighted. There was one about the volcano in Hawaii erupting or not erupting. There was one about some green light or something. About like pole reversals and seismic shifts and
there was something about the
increasing earthquakes, and so I was just like signs and wonders, because there's all kinds of signs and wonders going on right now.
It was the particle bombardment effort that they've been doing for a long time.
Oh, CERN, CERN.
Yeah. So I don't know what that's about, because I didn't follow it from a month ago. Anyway, Dave Coleman says, what do you mean everyone would see Mark and Sarah? Would the Zoom be public? Well, we don't know.
No, I'm talking about in the courtroom.
Yeah, I don't know if the courtroom would allow.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask for before the trial starts. I don't, know how. It's probably silliness, but I was going to ask for reporters to be able to be present, and for the tapings to be, or the proceedings to be taped.
Because this is a religious freedom issue, even though we're not really a religion, but it is about belief. And religions are about belief.
And our beliefs are being
denied. MW1 says, Jason Horla says, I have my fingers crossed. Hopefully the judge is fair. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think he's not fair. I think he's just, it's just the system. Yeah.
MW1 Online says, if you take one good step, 3 good steps come back. Well, I like that. Casey says, Sawyer, you may not have been left behind to do anything, but I'm glad you are anyway. Well, I appreciate that.
Me
and I hear you. MW1 Online says, I'm sure Sawyer knows why. Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure. Casey says, a camera are not allowed in federal courtrooms. Oh, really? Okay.
But in criminal courtrooms, they are?
Well, there's federal criminal too, right? Only state courtrooms are cameras allowed?
I don't know. But I know, like we just saw the Alex Murdaugh trial. I've watched a lot of criminal proceedings. So maybe that's the...
Casey says, those are state cases, Kathy.
Okay.
Checker 222 says, depends on the state and the judge. I see.
Hey, Checker 222.
Well, we'll have to see what the judge says about Indiana. But
probably not going to happen.
But it's a federal case, so I guess it's probably not going to happen. Like case you just said.
Good to know.
But we can do we'll do a mock-up. We'll do an artist rendering.
An artist rendering.
Anyway.
Well,
okay, so
then we'll just record them as they're coming out of the courtroom.
There you go.
We'll do it ourselves. Which they'll probably use that against us and ask for a temporary restraining order, which they already asked for behind our backs.
Well, then take it back. We're not going to do that.
You take it back?
Yeah, you're going to take it back, right? Take it back. Take it back.
Is it a law? Is it a criminal offense to record somebody's? In a public
they'll go into the basement right away and
they'll have tunnels that they get to go in and out
tunnels
of.
or a helicopter from the roof or something, or out the back door.
They want to use all of their money.
Like the movie stars.
That's what, like, it blows my mind, like, to have hundreds of thousands of dollars and to be using it in this manner. Like, they really feel like they're righteously persecuting us. Like, they really feel like this is what they're supposed to be doing, because why wouldn't you, like, be in Europe or, like, be using your money for, like, a cruise or giving it to charity or... But instead, they want to spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on a lawsuit against one of their former classmates and a new believer. I wouldn't call myself a new believer
Two of their
anymore
former
because it's
classmates.
4 years, but it's just so... It just blows my mind, like...
For sharing the information.
If I had money, like, I would not be using it to, like, sue people.
Playing T&O's tapes.
They really like lawyers.
And reading from the book out loud in a public forum. Oh, what terrible things we do.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
I want to watch a movie, though, Donna. I don't want to watch a series. Somebody give us a good movie to watch tonight that's based on... that deals with artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Hey, Paladin.
he's using a slang, sort of a slang there. He says the kings are pigs. Oh, the
Swine?
poor piggies. Piggies are actually nice animals.
They're super intelligent, too.
Yeah, I don't know if they would sue somebody for talking about what their master gave to the world. TML is here. Hey, Sawyer. Hey, Kathy.
Hello.
IO Walk says Transcendence is an iconic one. That's a movie? Transcendence?
Oh.
I haven't seen that one.
Let me look that up. Is it on Netflix or Amazon Prime? I guess I should have said that.
Casey says you might be able to make audio recordings of the proceedings or motion to request for camera to be allowed. Okay. Transcendence is an AI movie. It might cost.
Well, we're not. We're known to... Oh, it's got Johnny Depp in it?
Now it's okay.
2014.
Now you'll pay $20 for it.
Oh my God, no, I won't. He does not look that great. After,
It's if you two hear or nothing to learn from experience.
I wonder if I've seen that.
Transcendence.
Uh-huh. That looks interesting. Thank you.
Okay, maybe we'll watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Equilibrium with Christine Bale.
Oh, I have seen that. It's violent and...
Since when have we not watched violent movies?
I know, but it's just like a lot of... it's kind of like a... It's like Fahrenheit... Actually, I believe it is kind of a remake of Fahrenheit...
451?
450. I know, I was like, shit, what was that? Fahrenheit 451. And there's just like a lot of CGI.
Oh, yeah.
With like gunplay.
We saw a lot of that with other things, but yeah.
It feels like it's kind of like Fahrenheit 451 in The Matrix. I don't know if it came out before or after. I think it is an overlooked movie. And I was going through a Christian Bale phase. And that's why I watched that one. It's decent. But it's, we like stuff that makes us think.
Yeah.
And Equilibrium doesn't, I don't know, like it... Equilibrium, like he's a Fahrenheit 451 person. Like he's the one enforcing. There's no books allowed. There's no like nothing's allowed. You can't be reading anything. Actually, I think he finds that book after he like took somebody out for reading it or something, and he finds a copy of it and he actually reads it, he's breaking his own rules that he's upholding. And so the movie is about him like dealing with all of that. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's like it's too predictable.
It says it comes out, TML says 2002 it came out.
And when did The Matrix come out?
I don't remember.
The Matrix was like groundbreaking for stuff like that. It really was.
Yeah,
Like,
it was good.
we don't, I know it sounds silly, but it really was like a changed film.
Yeah.
That kind of film stuff.
Matrix was 1999, says Dave Coleman.
Yeah. That was a very good movie.
I don't know what happened to Facebook. Nobody's been on it for quite a while now. But it says it's still going.
We don't tend to get a lot of views on that one.
No.
I think Transcendence looks good.
All right, well, maybe we're at that point. Oh, no, we were still wanting to talk about the Jesus scriptures a little bit.
Why do we do... Maybe we should have called this, like, just catch-up chat or something.
Change the name of it?
We'll change the name of it. Changes the name of the game after all. God damn these hot flashes, y'all! Sorry. I'm sorry.
Good teachers make right and corrupt teachers. Okay, well, I wouldn't mind saying something about it.
Do you think you can do it justice in just a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I know that's like a whole good topic. And I wanted to hear about it too. I've been reading Sawyer's book just a couple pages a day. And it's super interesting. I don't want to get like a celebrity crush on you or anything. But it's yeah. It's nice. I'm super grateful for being able to be with you.
That's my pleasure, baby. We're good working partnership and a loving partnership. And challenging to each other, of course.
What is that supposed to mean? I'm literally going through a hot flash night right now.
You know,
Yeah, what?
you face me with my sarcasm.
What?
Other stuff. You don't just take my stuff without,
I remember when
measuring up.
we first met and when we became together, I remember thinking, don't be mean to him and don't try to change him. Because that would be
plenty of things to change.
That would be a travesty of Sawyerism.
There is no Sawyerism. Don't go into that kind of stuff. Unless there's a Caffeyism.
Ew.
And an EDA 973ism. And a old school Davism.
Soy oddity. That's what we were saying. Is we were
Soy
like, we're gonna
oddity,
do
yeah.
oddities markets. We really like that. And yeah, he was like, yeah, the family of odd, like Doe referred to them.
Yeah, because we're odd. We're definitely odd. Believers in Tiendo are odd people.
So the sign, like we were talking. So I saw this article that came out on March 7th, and I forwarded it from the Business Insider of all formats, and it was talking about this comet 2023 A3, I think is what they're calling it. That's going to be brighter than the Green Comet, which was not bright at all. I didn't see that at all. We looked too, damn it. We got the tarp out. We laid on the ground. We downloaded the app. We bought binoculars. We tried, damn it, and saw nothing. Regardless, and it's supposed to be brighter than Neowise, and it's coming, according to the smart people, in October of 2024. So there's been lots of fireballs happening and meteors and just a lot of celestial things, like the whole Jupiter and
close asteroids.
yeah, the whole Jupiter and Venus thing that was going on there for a while. Like I don't know, maybe I just don't look up enough, but I don't recall that happening before in my lifetime, Jupiter and Venus being that close. I'm sure they are. It's just an orbit thing.
Oh, they do, yeah. They have their...
I mean, I've always seen Venus in the sky, but like we were in downtown Savannah and you could just see it.
This comet that's going to be like as bright as Neowise
Brighter.
is going to be a seeing eye comet.
It's going to be brighter.
In other words, you can see it. No, the green comet you couldn't see without binoculars at the least.
Well, and that didn't work either.
Right, and then you could barely see it. I mean, we didn't succeed with our little binoculars, but
our binoculars were nice.
I don't know if they are powerful enough.
We could see the moon.
Yeah, you can see the moon with your eyes, too.
No, really?
Last time I checked.
See, this is the sarcasm. This is the sarcasm. No.
Okay, Luke 21:25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity and sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Now, some people could say that these things have all been happened already, and it's true.
What I like...
They have, but they're happening all at once now.
Before you go on, so that's Luke... Oh, that you didn't... Can you bring up the actual Bible thing? I mean, I suppose I could get out the Bible itself, but... So...
No, that's not Luke.
I see that. I should have got out the Bible. The Bible. The Bible. The Bible, the Bible, the Bible. Luke 21, verse 25 through 26. So, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then it goes on, Luke 21:27, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory.
Right.
And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Right, so seeing the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory is, well, I mean, the way to interpret that, cloud, what it meant throughout the Old Testament and New Testament, was covering. In other words, and those said that they were coming undercover. So and they came from the heavens. They said that they came from outer space. Mm-hmm. So that's coming, and now power and great glory. See, this can apply to several things, like Revelation 19, where it says that Jesus, well, that the individual older member is coming back with his spacecraft and his new suit of clothes with the graduate students. And so that can apply to this as well. That, because it's the same Son of Man coming in the cloud, but with power and great glory. See, he didn't get any glory, and he wasn't seen as powerful when he came incarnate.
During that time,
right.
Yeah.
But upon his return, it's going to be visible as power and great glory in some way, maybe. We don't know exactly what could happen. It could be something that we don't see at all. And that, the only thing we might see is that people dying in droves.
Which we're seeing.
Because they're being taken out of their vehicles and being, saved for, salvation means saved for a future opportunity to grow. Or being put into the wine press, recycled. that's talked about in Revelation 14, actually, that way. And and so, but the signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, is juxtaposed. That's not talking about UFOs necessarily. But in Revelation 13, it's talking about UFOs. It says, I'm saying the lower forces, actually. It's saying, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw the beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So that's talking about the dragon, because this is from Revelation 12 that Doe said was Lucifer was a dragon, and Lucifer has 10 heads and 7 heads and 10 horns, and so this is a reflection on the fact that the United States and the world is the beast. They're the humans. Beast means bestial humans, bestial mammals, is what that term actually means in this context. And so that's rising out of the sea as the continents, and the sea actually represents the human kingdom, actually more than the rising of the sea of the continents. It's all together. There's always a number of meanings to these words, and so he's got 7 heads. In other words, I think that means the G7 was originally the 7 leaders of the Western world. You know, they don't count Russia in that and China in that, because they think they're the greatest. You know, they're the rulers of the earth, and the 10 horns are the G10, which are the financial ministers, and it's said as horns because that represents the military, because the financial ministers are all in charge of the budgets that pay for the military. That's the way I was thinking about it. And upon his horns, 10 crowns. In other words, that's the financial ministers that have the control of the purse strings. And upon his heads, the name of blasphemy. In other words, blasphemy meaning teaching against the next level. You know, talking that the next level doesn't exist, or, you know, calling them the bad space aliens, or whatever. But, okay, I'm going to drop down, though, because it'll take too long to go through it. I think I probably talked about this on videos on my YouTube channel.
A couple years back. Maybe not even that long ago.
Oh, but then when they said that, and I saw one of his heads talking about this beast, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound healed, I felt like that was 9/11. Because the world looked at that as like a deadly wound. You know, everybody was like standing behind the United States when that happened. And the world wondered after the beast because it was healed. In other words, that beast recovered from all that. And then you know, and they worshipped the dragon, which was give power into the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" And it was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And the power was given unto him to continue 42 months, which is 3.5 years, but actually you can interpret that differently. But I don't want to go through all that right now. And
there's a mosquito in here.
let me see. So the mouth has to do with the media. You know, the ability to say all these great things that are blasphemies, like saying that humans can, you know, keep the earth from heating up, and and they can shoot down asteroids, and they can deflect them. They're saying things like that now, that they have
They
the ability
are,
to do those
yeah.
kind of things, and those are great things, that they think they have the power to do, but they don't. They don't have the power to change hardly anything that the next level. They can't change anything the next level wants to do.
Oh.
And we need to be faced with these things because this is the time period. All cycles come to an end. It's not like, running into the caves and, getting a bunch of beans and, storing them in there and getting weapons to keep other people from getting your beans. How good is that going to be for how long? Who wants to live in a cave eating beans and keeping other people, killing
Oh my
other people
God.
that want your beans?
That sounds bad, especially beans in a cave.
Yeah, exactly, right. Beans in the cave.
You don't
So
want
I mean,
beans
it's
in
like
an
I'd
enclosed
rather
space at
I'd
all.
rather lose my vehicle in in an atomic bomb or something. Be
Than
quick,
be stuck in
quick
beans in
instead
a
of
cave.
suffering like that. So if they want to go underground in their caves and live, for years and years, maybe the next level will allow them to do that, and then that'll be the new crop of Luciferians, the minds that keep those vehicles alive as long as they can, and then grow hybridized vehicles that they can then, when they die, they can take them over, because the scarnets and souls can take over vehicles and program them to be the same as they are, and they would have that genetic background. So it's like a repeat kind of thing is seeming to be happening again. I forgot where it said that they would show them signs and wonders. That's why I brought these up. Let me see if I can go to it.
Enter the keywords.
Well, it's just a little bit further on. I didn't copy enough.
I think that this one has a hole in it, babe. This gallon container.
Yes, there is one that has a hole in it. It leaked all over the bottom.
Yeah, it's this one.
Oh yeah, that's why that puddle is always there. All right, you just killed that bottle.
Time to recycle.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. Now, the saints in this context is anybody that's attempting to embrace Tiando's teachings and apply them to the degree that they choose to apply them, and that want to overcome their humanness.
Thank you for filling up all the jugs.
Okay, so then the other beast comes up out of the earth and has two horns like a lamb and spake like a dragon. And so I thought that represented the Pope and the Tibetan Buddhist Dalai Lama. I could be wrong about that. Because horns like a lamb would be the peaceful, peaceful people, gentle people, but they spake like a dragon because they're preaching humanism, mammalianism, seed-bearing plants. Go out and multiply. That's their teachings. They want, they say that we're in power. The Pope, like for instance, says we're in power, and we're all celibate, but we want everybody else to propagate. So even Lucifer uses the celibacy as a negative. Cousteau felt like that Lucifer was no longer a sexual creature. But he still went, totally against the next level. There it is.
I was going to say, did you read the wonders part?
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth. Okay, he says on Revelation 13:13, and he doeth great wonders. This is talking about the second bestial human group of individuals or whatever that comes from the first one. So that's, I was thinking of that as the EU because that became the second. United Nations has two headquarters, and one is in New York, of course, and the other one is in Brussels. And so I was thinking that was representing the two different beasts. And it says that because that one exercises all the power of the first beast and causes the earth and them which dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from the sky on the earth in the sight of men. Well, yeah, right, or laser beams, or the picture that they said from CERN was showing like these columns of fire coming down, and when there was the Norway spiral, that was pretty significant type of firework they were doing there. I've never seen anything like that before. That made a spiral and stuff like that. And, but also, the great wonders, we don't know what that's going to be. That could be like holograms. It could also be like done with drones to make the appearance of Jesus in the sky. There might be a rapture of the lower forces. To where vehicles might be taken. What that's actually happening. Abduction cases are a lot to do with vehicles taken, and they say that children are disappearing. I don't know if that's all part of it. That's
been happening for a while, don't you?
Yeah, it's been happening for a while. Well, all these things have been happening for a while, but that's the way it works. It's all. That's why you can say at any point you can say, oh, this has already happened, so it's not, so it's been talked about for a while, so I guess it's not happening, is it? And yet it's been happening, and it's continuing to happen, and it's probably, I think, could be proven if somebody would put their mind to it, that it's escalating.
Right.
That's the point.
That's the point.
That it's escalating. So it's not. It's not the worst wars in the world aren't happening yet, but they might be. North Korea is now launching nuclear missiles from ballistic missiles from a submarine.
Supposedly China is gearing up too.
China's been at it for a long time.
Well, but they're like, from what I've read, they're going hard.
Yeah, and Israel is about to attack Iran. It seems like any day, because they said that Iran is now at the place to where they can actually produce they have enough material to make a nuclear weapon, and if they had a nuclear weapon, they could basically demolish the Middle East, Israel. So Israel is, of course, interested in their own survival, and so they don't want Iran to have that, but yet they have it. And they do certain things with it. They can do tactical nuclear strikes, that can take out their reactors. And they recently did one, I think, in Iran, not too long ago. I think it was after Trump, though, that happened. Well, we heard about that. But I don't have that in my head right now, exactly where that was, where they said that there was a tactical nuclear strike on the pipeline. The Norway, what did you call that pipeline in the North Sea? That was it was a Russian pipeline, and it was hit by, it was invaded.
What's it called?
By the United States.
It's not the
Nordstrom? No, that's the name of a department store.
I know, that's what I'm like, I don't.
Something like that. Of course, I'm not, and I'm not pretending to be, great at documenting this because I'm not spending any time on this anymore. But the thing is, these are all indications that seem to correlate with these prophecies. Now, prophecies are real. They're, a lot of times they're given and they seem to be like dreams. Okay, but the next level can work with humans and dreams to give them all kinds of visions. So that's what I think this was. Now, now the person that's receiving it doesn't necessarily know how to interpret it that well. So that's what Doe said about the revelation material, that John wasn't able to interpret it all. So there's things in it that are inaccurate, like the 1,000 years that Lucifer was locked up. He said that happened before this time. Yeah, well before this time, before Tiendo came. And I don't know what period of time that was. Maybe it was the Renaissance or something, or maybe that Lucifer's presence caused the Renaissance. But I don't know if there was a 1,000-year period where you didn't see the evidence. Now that just might mean that nobody saw any evidence of space aliens, or remember in the 1500s, they had all those. Somebody was painting paintings.
Yeah, I was going to say they were in the paintings.
Right, showing pictures of people riding inside a comet.
Well, and there was also the one of Mary holding Jesus, and there's people in a spaceship.
Right. So we don't know if the Luciferians were locked up, so that they couldn't really, abduct people, and couldn't really take, specimens of sperm and egg from humans. They had to survive in their underground facilities in Antarctica or wherever they were, like under Shasta, where they say the Lemurians are. That Tiendo, gave some indications that there might have been some truth to that, from previous civilizations where they had technology and they went underground and they started trying to make spacecrafts and
Well, what was that thing that in the tape that we were just listening to, the thing in Superstition Mountains in Arizona?
Fort Huachuca. I don't know what Fort Huachuca is, but we need to look into that, what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Doe was interested in. He was listening to all kinds of people on cable TV when we had it, and on satellite TV when we had that, and to learn what kind of things were happening on Earth in order to get clues to how and what he was going to do, in combination with what he was feeling and what what kind of answers he felt like he was getting from T. See, the next level doesn't communicate like a channeler does. I was asked that question at the meeting that I just gave in the Oddities Market. What do you think about channeling? And my answer was that we don't think that's the next level. It's not next level beings coming through the human, because the next level doesn't take over people. The lower forces, they take over people. They try to. The next level doesn't allow them to take over certain people, but the politicians that get famous, and even other people that get famous and can influence a lot of people, they're taking over. Now, I'm not saying how much they're taking over and whether they can snap out of it or not. I don't know.
Snap out of it.
Right, but they're taken over by the lower forces because that's normal for them. Because Lucifer's been in charge of this planet. This is his baby. Doe said that in those words, I think. And the next level has allowed him to do that, so that we could build strength.
What?
All right, folks. I know I went through that kind of fast and probably not did a very good job, but those are some of the. There's other things that can be talked about in this regard. But for years, I was watching what NASA was recording happening in the sun, and in the moon, and
Mm.
in the planets, and there's all kinds of things
Yeah.
that are very odd happening on Pluto and the planet Ceres. That are
Ceres is a
boggling the
planet?
mind. Yeah, Ceres is the biggest asteroid in the asteroid belt, and some people think it should be called a planet.
Huh.
And it's got that white material that's oozing out of it, or is being, or is like a mine of some sort that the next level might have. That maybe it has anti-gravity material on it because it's like a phosphorescent glow that you could see from the Earth and from the Hubble telescope.
Okay.
So I mean, I could go on for hours about all the things that I observed, and I talked about them before. But those are all signs and wonders. Miracles are the same kind of thing. I mean, just the fact that the internet is so prevalent to me is like a miracle.
Well, wasn't Elon Musk was talking about how the internet was basically like you already have artificial intelligence because your cell phone.
Yeah, exactly. Right, that's
Like
what I was
we're
trying to
already
say
kind
too.
of cyborgy.
Right, like the days when like you could be in a different part of the world, you could be on the surface of the planet, and from a satellite they can see everything you're doing, and you can watch them, and you can talk with them, you can have a video chat with them on the other side of the world from outer space, through outer space, by beaming off, the signals off the satellites, and because the next level designed all these signals, different ways of communicating, and so those are miracles to anybody's definition, except those that are born into that, and then they think of it as just normal. All right, folks. I hope there's nothing new in the chat room because
Was there
I'm
any?
worn
Is
out.
that on Facebook over there? Oh, we already saw that.
Let's see, maybe there is some more stuff. Let me just take a look at it quick. Nordstrom, Booster said, and China is making babies from factories that can possible. Well, yeah, they've got the cloning that's happening. I mean, when that's been happening for quite a while, cloning humans. That's happening in Vietnam. And that was talked about by David Icke and Rael, that space aliens had the ability to clone humans and even their minds.
Hmm. What? I petted you. I am gonna look for Transcendence. The Hunger Games is not wanting to watch that ever. Did you
Yeah,
miss
we're
a
not
bunch?
really interested in feel-good quality in movies, MW1 Online. What is Kathy Zodiac? She's a Gemini, right?
I was born in April.
Is that, I forget now. Is that Taurus? Oh, is that, no, that's uh, early April would be Aries? Yeah, so she's got a Mars personality. She's a fire
That's my ruling planet.
fire goddess.
Aries. The war god.
And see, so you got the first house of Aries, and I'm the fifth house. So we're a trine. Our sun signs are trine, which is good.
Yeah, you looked up.
It's a good combination.
You looked up my thing once.
Yeah. I didn't try to interpret it much, your astrology chart. Black Swan is good, according to MW1 Online.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
And then I heard Walk says transcendence is spooky, and it's how they think AI would take over. There are a lot of deep dives on that movie.
That's what I like. That's what we like. We like, things that make us think.
Yeah.
I know,
We like
Johnny.
to see the next level thinking in things.
I think it's
Planet X.
Keanu Reeves did a Johnny Neuron or Neutron or something where they uploaded stuff into his brain and.
Yeah, right. So Planet X, yes. I mean, whether that's that might be
Nibiru.
Nibiru, yeah.
However you.
That might be, for all we know, Tiendo's Armada. Do's Armada. That Revelation 19 seems to depict happening. And Doe said that he was coming back for the harvest, but it wouldn't be a teaching time. In other words, he wouldn't be incarnate again until the next civilization starts up again. And then I don't know what position he'll take in that new school setup.
Ooh, we have a 7-day free trial for Cinemax.
Oh, yeah?
I'll let Maya know I'm starting it.
My vehicle's sun sign is Leo. August 17th, 1951. 100 years after Davy Crockett was born.
What the heck? What the hell?
I like the Davy Crockett, even though he was probably a terrible person. Persecuting
Wasn't he
Indians.
fighting at the Alamo?
Yeah. So he fought against the Spanish, I guess, right? Spanish-American War.
Well, I don't know if that was such a bad thing because it wasn't Mexicans, it was the Spanish. Which they invaded Mexico.
Oh, I see.
And killed a bunch of them.
Oh.
And actually, I think, according to somebody I used to know, that native people from Mexico were Indians. The Aztecs, the Mayans, all different kinds of tribes that were there, native to Mexico, and then the Spaniards came and killed a bunch of them, and then intertwined with them as well, and that made modern day Mexicans. They're Spanish as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because they all had different tribes. Like the Aztecs were not the Mayans, they were the Mayans. There's all different kinds.
No, there's nothing bad about when you're born under which sign. All the astrological signs can represent characteristics of the vehicle, but the lessons, are all humans get variations of the same lessons. Nobody's bad for being born in the Cancer zodiac, or being born in the summer versus the winter. The first day of summer in Cancer zodiac, you can still. Is Evie okay? She's very talkative.
I know. I don't know what the heck was going on with her.
Donna's saying that.
She misses
What's
you, Donna.
What's going on? I didn't even do anything in this thing.
You were over there. You were over there doing stuff.
No, it's acting weird.
'Cause you were on. You're not pulling right on it. I can see what you're doing with the mouse.
I'm not on a real mouse.
I don't know, but you weren't actually pulling on it. There you go. Yeah, we have a joke, Donna. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but like whenever Evie starts getting crazy, we're like, we're gonna put you in the car and take you back to Donna's.
She seems to know that what we were talking about. I mean, not that Donna was great.
Yes, that was so
you were
wonderful.
fantastic to try to help with that, but
yeah,
Evie just wasn't gonna, be around all the cats.
she
that
thinks she's
Donna
a
had.
person. She's a
Yeah.
one cat household,
And she's so
which
attached
is
to
too
Kathy.
bad. Yeah, it's too bad. I thought that would have been a good time for her. That she would have been. She was off exploring already when we were letting her outside, and she was happy with that. But she still likes her comforts, and yeah, it is too bad that didn't work out.
Good night, MW Online, and Johnny Mnemonic.
Johnny Mnemonic, that's the name of that movie. Yeah.
Dave Coleman loves that movie, he says.
I don't know that I've ever actually seen all of it. I just know what it's about.
Screwing Up, is that a movie? No, I don't know.
Maybe that's just what he was saying before, that he retracted the message.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he said I was called the black sheep of my family.
Who said that?
MW1 Online, right down there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, join the crowd.
Club?
Club.
Yeah, it looks like we're caught up on,
We're caught up, so we're going to turn in for the night.
We're not turning in for the night.
No, but I mean, we're going to end the live stream.
Yeah. We're going to watch a movie. We're going to eat popcorn. Probably going to eat a little bit of cake. I'm going to have a pickle.
I don't want a pickle. I just want to ride my motorcycle.
I thought it was motorcycle.
No, he says cycle.
But
All
it should be.
Guthrie.
But it should be, I don't want a pickle. I just want to ride my motorcycle.
Right. I know. But he
I never know these songs you're singing.
But he
anyway.
wasn't he wasn't a kind of poet like that. He was a little like his dad. Oliver Guthrie was a little bit strange. All right. Good night.
Good night, you guys.
Dave Coleman.
Thank you for
And
hanging
everyone
in
else
there.
that's here. Pickles and cake. Oh
That's
my gosh.
right. And
Booster says,
no, I am not pregnant.
I'm not gonna have pickles.
No, he doesn't like pickles,
I
but
like
I love
pickles
them.
and cake.
I don't like
have
them
together.
Yeah. And no, I am not pregnant. I'm the opposite. I'm going through menopause, so in
Good night,
case
Checker
anyone was
222.
wondering about that. No next level babies over here.
Until UTI maybe. UTI maybe? Question mark?
Does that say maybe? I don't
Donna's saying that.
I don't have a UTI. Oh, if Evie has a UTI or I do? Not I don't believe either of us do.
What is that?
It's a urinary tract infection.
Oh. Okay.
I bet pickles would be helpful for that, though. Supposedly you
think
can
so?
drink pickle juice and it cleans your
I
system
thought it
out.
was cranberry juice.
But maybe pickle juice helps
Really?
too. I don't know.
Okay.
I think I just like the salt.
All right. Oh, EDA. Donna says, oh, hearts, hearts, hearts. Good night, Donna, Eric.
Yeah, we got to drive our motorhome over there and stay with them.
Right. Just pull
That's
that
a lot of
motorhome
fun.
right up there and
We can just park in the driveway and you guys just run a cord out to us.
run our waste tank into the woods.
We're not going to do that. We got a poop caddy. We can poop caddy it somewhere.
Yeah, well, where do you put it? It's can't stay that long.
Well,
You're
you know what?
driving it
There's
somewhere
actually
to
there's
get rid of it.
actually one on our camping membership. There's a campground in what is it, Lancaster? There's a campground there.
Oh, there is. That's
Yeah.
right. Then we could be out of your hair.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Evie, we can introduce Evie to the friends that she made there. I think she did make a couple friends, sort of. Right? No, maybe not.
I think if she had stayed longer, if her stomach wasn't so finicky and she didn't work herself up so much, I think she would have made some cat friends.
Yeah, like we packed up yesterday to move the motorhome to another spot in the same RV park.
That's today we did that.
We did it today, and as we started to get up and do that, we had to bring the sides in and everything, and Evie was starting to go crazy.
Yeah, she went. Whoa. She did her "I'm gonna puke" thing, and so
Right.
we instructed her to go to her spot, and she went to her spot and did her little thing, and it was just clear. It was just stress puke. Poor thing.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't.
She doesn't like that moving.
But it's like it's gonna be 5 minutes. Promise.
Yeah. It's not going to be an hour.
And once we're on the road, she's fine.
Yeah,
she's
pretty
got
much
her.
adjusted.
She's got literally the front seat in the RV, like she's on the dash.
Yeah, except when it's raining and the windshield wipers are going, she gets freaked out by the windshield
She
wipers.
doesn't like the windshield wipers.
All right. Good night. Oh, Chris. Let's see. Is Aaron back?
No, I think you went up top there.
No, Aaron didn't come back.
We're
All right.
done.
Good night, folks.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen this movie or not.